allegiance, pledge allegiance.
Pledge allegiance
to
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next thing is the approval of the minutes. Did you guys all get a chance to look them over?
Yeah, I read
I read them.
motion to accept. I'll make a motion.
Jim makes a motion to accept the minutes, or second to the motion.
I'll second.
Miller seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Next item is approval of the agenda.
I would just like to add something on old and unfinished business, would just be kind of an airport update.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Good idea. Anything else, guys?
I would make a motion to approve the agenda with the one additional item about the airport added to it.
Okay. Is there a second to the motion by Mr. Magrum?
I'll second.
Gardner, all in favor?
Alright,
Opposed, motion carried.
I guess I would make the motion to approve the amended agenda, I guess is probably the proper.
Probably not.
Instead of wording it the way I worded it as amended. agenda.
Okay, next was old and unfinished business. The Hall Road Agreement discussion. You probably wanna be part of this, Russ?
Yeah.
Step on up if you want, and take the mic if you want, I mean,
I guess I don't really have much to add to it, other than I thought it was
Just a
a
list, okay.
open discussion. Really.
Have you read over it at all? Just
I have read it, it seems fairly,
pretty much for the most part, just kind of gives you the keys to it, and I mean,
pretty
I mean, just reading over it, it's almost in like a resolution form, so,
Morning, Joe.
I think it's, it's vague. So, good thing about vague things is they can generally be amended pretty easy. The bad thing is it's kind of vague, so I don't know if it's good to just kind of always have it in the form it is. And then have some kind of it should almost be like an amendment page or something, like,
Attached
cause you're gonna have negotiations in every haul road agreement. Some bigger projects, they're gonna do watering and blading, other ones are smaller. I mean, there's really like no area to like maybe sign off, or there should almost be like a checklist of things and be like, is the company gonna be doing what? No, yes, and then like have them sign it at the bottom.
and I did talk with Mike and Flint on that, and they're gonna actually be coming up here probably next month, this month to next month as the weather gets better. And we're gonna go out there, and I can probably have more details for you at that time, where we're gonna discuss, what we want done, what we don't want done, like, just like Aaron said, who's gonna do what.
Yeah,
So next month would probably be a lot more information for you guys as far as what's going on, if that works for everybody.
see, and I even said it to Sherb one time when we were speaking about putting cameras on the 3 inlets and outlets on that location, so that nothing's overlooked and nobody's accused of wrongdoing. And he said, I'm fine with that,
As far as that, as far as the permit policy and stuff, Marlis, when they apply for a permit, what do they get? Most of these guys are doing it like over their phone, I'm assuming. So they just have like a verification on their phone that they have a permit. Is that kind of how this would work?
Yep, and they do it right through load apps themselves.
So that would be my only concern, is that the permits are getting, everybody's having a permit when they come in, I guess, because from my understanding, most of them loads are gonna be overweight. So they should all be permitted coming in. How are we gonna make sure that every guy has his permit, is what I'm wondering.
Well,
How did you do it before?
We kind
Well,
of talked about
The,
that.
the problem is we didn't, I mean, we were in over our heads with that last project. I mean, you just kind of assume everybody knows about your process, and I don't, when I say we missed permits in that last project, I don't wanna necessarily say it was fraudulent. It might have just been maybe guys didn't know, kind of, and nobody was really checking them, so it's like, well, if they bring a load in and it's not permitted, they didn't know, and nobody's checking them, and
Just go.
Next Air is assuming the county's doing it, the county's assuming Next Air is doing it, or Michaels, or Blattner, and nobody's doing it.
Yeah.
And then the expectation on the county side is, who are the two people, the road superintendent and the sheriff. who neither one of them really have time to babysit this project when there's 50 loads a day coming in for 2 weeks, you know, so the idea was brought forward that we should hire someone. And then a part of that hiring is that would be like a haul road agreement fee, essentially, is the calculation of the fee is how many days you think the project's gonna be? 10 days. Well, we charge $300 a day is what we think to pay someone. 300 times 10, there's your $3,000, that's your fee, and it's basically to hire someone
Yeah.
to oversee the project.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
the hiring of it is another whole part, you know, you find a retired guy in the community, I'm not saying you like hire an already employed person at the county, you look for someone to be like a temporary supervisor of the
Yeah.
project under probably the road superintendent. And that's what they would do, is they'd just be like a seasonal temporary project supervisor, inspector, whatever you'd call it.
And they gotta have a permit that they give you a copy, a physical copy, like to this guy. on
Well,
the
or an
side.
email format, like that person would be the person that would probably work with Marlis on like the double checking of the permits, like, okay, Marlis got 27 of them approved for that, I have 27 of them that I checked, we're good, you know, and these are the fees, the amounts, whatever, you know, and cause I think if you bring this idea forward, I would be even willing to bet next era might even wanna try and provide someone, but then it's like, it's both maybe unfair to expect them to do that, and then also it's in their self-interest maybe if not have,
Right.
like, not accusing them of fraud, but if they miss a couple, it's probably to their benefit, where to us, it would be more the cross-check. And then you'd also have that person kind of be the road superintendent's eyes and ears, right?
Yeah.
There's a bad spot out on 72nd by 14th, you know, okay, that person can go out, take pictures, maybe measure it, call Russ. So that way when he's down at Westfield or up by Glencoe, he don't have to drive out there to look at a pothole that
Yeah.
may or may not be an issue right now, you know, and you can just have this middleman that takes that burden off, and the burden of the compensation is, you know, the company doing the project.
Yeah.
Which I think is reasonable.
I think it'd be a good idea to bring somebody on board.
Right, and I think that's probably a
And
part of
deal
the,
with working with you, like you say, with Marlis and all of us, yeah.
right, I
That
just think
nothing's missed.
that's part of the process of, you know, of this whole deal is like, it would be nice to have a fee, and that fee is only associated with the hiring of someone to supervise the project.
Can they come in at only certain times, or can they come in at 1 at night and dump loads?
Well, I think that was my next question, and I think that would be up to us to set that.
Well, and they're probably not gonna get unloaded at 1 in the morning, so they're probably gonna be sitting there
Well,
in the
you just,
morning.
it basically, we can set those parameters, cause I mean, unless someone proves me wrong, it seems like the one area where we have almost absolute control over these projects is the haul road agreement. Like the legislature's basically been like, we don't wanna tell you how to run your roads and your we don't wanna tell you that they can't run at midnight, that's up to you guys. Dust control, that's up to us, maintenance of the, so when it comes to the haul road agreement, short of making just absolute ridiculous type terms, I think there's pretty much anything we can do, like if we tell them by like 8 o'clock at night, you're done hauling, that's kind of the, I mean,
We gotta protect ourselves in this.
well, I'm just saying that that's the scenario you would do, is like kinda even what Russ said, we would just have to be like, hey, or no weekends or whatever, if that's something you think is an issue. Same thing with dust control, if you have neighbors that are worried about it, that's something you put in the haul road agreement.
It's gonna be a tough time of the year, spring of the year
Yeah.
when the frost is coming up.
It is, yeah, it's gonna be a bad time,
Yeah.
depending on how the spring goes, but.
Yeah.
Is that something you guys want me to take care of as far as looking for someone? Do you wanna put an ad out? How do you wanna go about
Well,
that?
I kinda pinged Sherb a little bit about 2 weeks ago, just to kinda try to find out what the time frame might be, I mean, how long they think they're gonna haul this equipment in, and they are so, he said, in the infancy of trying to figure this all out, he said, I have absolutely nothing to
No
leave
idea,
to the counter.
right.
Just so that a guy could even start looking, I mean, it's hard to find a guy for 10 days or 2 months, I mean, you gotta, you know, some of these guys are gonna want, like, yeah, I'd be interested, but I don't really wanna do it for 10 days, I'd be happy to do it for 2 months, or I don't wanna do it for 2 months, I'd be happy for 2
Right.
weeks or whatever, so they really had, he made it sound like this next time they come, they'll have a much better plan of what is going on, cause they were still working with Michaels, I think, to get all this ironed out and find out exactly when and how and all those variables, so that we'd have a better idea, but
You talk to them quite often, or no?
No, I haven't, but the last time I talked to them, they were gonna come up here, we were gonna go with the camera,
Okay,
or recorder and stuff, drive the haul roads and trying to get everything straightened out
Okay.
on that side of it, and then. But at that time, we should definitely let them know what our plan is, as
Yeah.
far as how we wanna go about it, so they can relay it to their drivers and stuff as well, I would think, right?
most of the costs are gonna go on that.
Hopefully they'll come up during a meeting and we can,
Well, and again, even with the haul road fee, it could be negotiable on the fee or the time, you know, all that is basically negotiable. There,
Right.
it's,
There's no
for the
set.
most part, there's pretty much blank slate, even our haul road agreement, it can be amended as long as both sides are agreeing to it. I don't think there's really any violation of law, other than, you know, you can't agree to violate state law by doing something, but my point being like, if we say we're gonna do 300 a day and they're like, well, we'll give you 250 a day, well, if that person we wanna hire wants 300 a day and we agree to only do two, and we're gonna, I mean, you can do that, whether it's smart or not, but I think that's where like, the parameters are basically between us and whoever is signing this haul road agreement, and you can discuss fees and watering and the whole 9 yards, you can, let's just say they don't wanna do dust control and we do, and we're like, well, we're gonna do it, and we're gonna charge you X amount, they're like, you know what, for that, we can't even do it, you do it, so then it's in the agreement that, you know, Russ has got 7 hours into dust control that week, that times 200 an hour, that's the bill, like, and so you can issue bills through it, everything, as long as it's agreed in paper, for the
Yeah,
most part,
yeah,
correct me if I'm wrong, Joe, but it's basically
Right.
just a total agreement on how this project's gonna go, so I think the inspector position, whatever, if you wanna put it out right now for people to apply and we do interviews, I'm fine with that, whatever, but I think we should have someone that's not already committed to duties of the county,
Right, right.
and then figure out, you know, maybe $300 isn't enough, maybe it's way too much, I don't know, and you start getting a feel for this, and then that's how you build a fee.
yeah,
Go
that's the
from
part that kinda stinks though, is you advertise and you have no idea what you're gonna pay them, because you have no idea what you're gonna charge them.
Well, I think the big thing about it is I think you just gotta be upfront with people.
Yeah,
You just
no, I
gotta be
know.
like, you know, that,
I just think the lack of applicants is gonna be based off
What they're gonna get
pay.
paid.
right,
I mean, that's just how the world works right now.
Well, I don't know if
You're paying
you-
500, you're gonna have 25 applicants. If you say, well, it could be 200 or 300, you're probably gonna get 5.
How many
maybe.
hours is it consistent, yeah?
well, and that's where with a position like that, I don't even know if you necessarily have to advertise it, so you could just ping people and see if anybody's interested, and then bring a small group together, like,
I think that might be a.
Yeah,
Well,
that's for sure.
I mean, it just, I mean, like I said, you gotta double check with the laws, but
Yeah,
since
I
it's like a
think
temporary position,
They gotta furnish a vehicle,
I
or
would
we get
say
a furnish.
that's all a part of the
All
negotiation,
part of the
that's what I'm
negotiation,
saying, like,
that's under-
you know, and that's where we have to take into consideration what the fee's gonna be, is that,
Yeah,
that
they can use a
$300 a
county
day
vehicle,
include
they can
pickup? I
use
mean, that-
Tahoes,
that's the,
but they have to pay for fuel.
right. I mean, that's where, you know, if you're just gonna charge fees for things, you gotta make sure that's in the agreement, that that's part of it, this is furnished or not, or whatever.
Just so we're covered on it. That we're not
Well,
losing money, you know?
and to be honest with you, even if we're not perfectly covered, but we're mostly made whole, it's still gonna be worth it, because I can just tell you, as someone that was here during the wind project, it was extremely difficult to get somebody from the road department to come out and look at something right away, because they were busy, it's May, it's June, it's
Yeah,
July,
right.
like, to try and be like, hey, by the way, there's this big rock on the road, and it's too big to move by hand, well, nobody's in the area for an hour or two, well, you got this rock this big, no, like,
Yeah.
those are the kinds of issues you need to have someone on the spot that can flag it or try and move it or coordinate with Nextera or who their contractor is, be like, hey man, you guys gotta get this fixed, like, there was too much leeway between the county commissioners, the road superintendent, the sheriff, nobody was technically responsible, but we all were, and no one knew who was doing what until it was like, till people were complaining, then you're like, oh my god, it's too late, so. And even in fairness to Nextera, or their contractor, they're not on top of everything at every moment, it's big
You
projects,
can
so.
just hear, you know, they're overwhelmed. They don't-
Having somebody that's out there driving these roads, checking the permits, checking the conditions, upholding the haul road agreement is what we need.
Yeah. Go ahead, Gary.
Second comment, so when we had that, when Nextera was in here in the wind tower project, one of the complaints that we heard later on during that project was drivers that were bringing in units, whether it was the generators or the tubes for these windmills. Later on in that project, the complaint was from some of the drivers, was the company guys were following the rules and getting the local permits that were required. But then later on in that project, there were independent drivers that were not buying the permits, and then they were bidding this stuff out, and they were undercutting everybody else because they weren't buying the permits.
Permits,
Trying to identify those guys, who that is and so forth was, it's almost impossible, because they were coming in so hot and heavy and every day and all hours of the day, but having something in your haul agreement with the general contractor that if they're gonna be bidding this stuff out, that one of their requirements is they must, or shall get their local permits. You know, having something stipulated there, because that was one of the problems there. I mean, it got kinda testy there for a while when, some of these guys found out that they were losing loads because other guys were bidding out, weren't buying the permits, and those permits were quite spendy, so it made a heck of a difference in how you could bid that out.
And they get pretty damn defensive when you
Oh, yeah,
stop
absolutely.
and approach them.
Yeah, so having something in your agreement that says that they're going to contract this stuff out, they shall, that should be part of their agreement is they shall. Now, who's gonna police that? But at least having that in there, that in order for you to submit a bid, you gotta follow the local permit system and obtain that.
No around it, you're gonna be reverted.
Right, but I think there's stuff like that stipulated in both the PSC permit and probably even an our conditional use permit. It looks in there that you have to, you know, abide by all county rules and laws, but if they don't understand that there is a haul road agreement
Yeah,
or a haul pass,
yeah.
if they don't know that, and they're not familiar with it, that, like I said, don't necessarily mean it's fraudulent all the time, sometimes they just don't know, and that's why you need to have someone that's checking these loads, checking it against next errors. Well, we got 28 loads today, well, I only got 26 permits, and then you need to, that's how you start tracking to get into who's not following the rules, whether it's purpose or not.
But
And
that takes a lot of work on the other end to account for all these
right,
permits.
well, that's why we need somebody, because even like Marla, she's got a million duties too, and then she's tracking these permits, and then you got, you know, like I said, Russ is gonna be all over the place, Gary's all over the place, nobody's gonna be tracking this.
There's
You're just
three
taking it by their word, and again, the reason you assess these permits is cause later on, 2 years from now, you find out they crushed a culvert, and you didn't catch it then, well, that's why you got these permits, you're trying to alleviate some of that damage.
That's what I was wondering, if there was a physical permit that they gotta give you a sheet.
I would
And
have
you
to
can take a picture.
putting something in the windshield of the truck or in a cab of the truck that's actually displayed, that you can visually say that's.
Yeah,
Well, there's got, I mean, with
County.
both, yeah,
Which
Richland County, so back when I was doing the service for driving the truck over there, they had a local permit, and you had to have that displayed in the cab of your truck. So I
Then
could
you
walk
can
by, I
see it.
could drive by, I could see that they got a local permit, it's a bright orange, fluorescent orange permit, you know, big letters, boom, there it is. You knew right away whether that truck had one or not.
well, and Load Pass has like verification emails, I would imagine there's some kind of printable link, yeah, there's gotta be a
Right.
printable permit that you can, like you said,
Stamp.
that's part of your inspection process, you gotta have that sheet of paper or something or whatever, so it's, I mean, those are things that you're kinda have to learn as you go maybe, or figure out a process as you go. But I think just having someone at least start that process, and I mean, if we gotta put it out for interviews or.
I just wondered, maybe we should just, if we know of anybody, visit with them, and then if we have some, I mean, I think we have to open it up to anybody that wants it, but I think
Right.
we should just check and see if there's any interest amongst the
Get a
few people whose names have already been thrown out there, some retired guys we know. And then maybe by the next meeting, we'll have a little bit more information, and we'll know, you know, be able to come up with some better numbers, and then maybe we could do almost like an interview process.
Well, the only thing I would say is I would have to think next air is gonna be here by March or April.
I would think so
Wanting to
too.
do a haul road agreement, so it's just something that, you know, in the meantime. And I don't necessarily think you have to have all this in your haul road agreement. Like, if all of a sudden they come next month, it's like, we all agree we have some parameters, that just needs to go in, like, it's just like, hey,
Yeah.
we need our own guy and we need compensation for that, and that's gonna be a part of this, and, you know, cause I can tell you that when it comes to the haul road agreement, like, if they disagree with everything we wanna do, like, we can deny them a haul road agreement, like, again, you can't hold them hostage, and there's probably certain things they can eventually get back at you, but I don't think it's unreasonable, some of the things we've talked about. I don't think it's gonna be a problem with them, so,
No.
but I'm just saying, like, even, it, like, okay, it isn't word for word how we want it, I mean, you can amend this thing as you go, so.
Maybe Ron would do this for us.
Well, yeah, he's a candidate, yeah. Mr. Dyker,
Yes, sir.
we're just talking about somebody to be the Hawkeye out on site. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, I would say just even in the discussion we've had, that, because, I mean, the way we discussed it before with the haul road agreement, it was basically negotiated amongst the commissioners, like.
You never had anybody
We
out on
did
site?
it, no, we did it in a meeting basically where we
Okay.
negotiated the haul road agreement, so
Okay.
that's something where at some point they're gonna have to come to us and we're gonna have to sign something, get some kind of document together that we vote on and approve, so.
If you need to add anything else, Russ,
I just think if
bring
we
it to the
could, if we
board
could
and we'll
touch,
attach it, you know, and amend it.
if we can touch base with a few people that we know might be interested in it, and we can get an idea what they think they want
Yeah,
per day.
Yep,
You know, and then we can get some of our costs together, so we, if we do meet with them, say next month, we have some numbers for them, and then we can work on hiring somebody, cause I'm sure they won't start till probably May.
Well, the other thing, it would be nice to know when they think they're gonna start, I mean, it would just even be nice to
you don't
know.
think they'll start the end of March?
I didn't get a warrant, I just really, when I talked to Clint, I don't think that they're ready quite yet, I don't think they have everything.
The ducks are
lined up.
down the road.
No, I don't, that was about 2 weeks ago, and
Is there a lot of dirt work that's gonna have to be done out there for prep, other than hauling gravel in, to prepare the site
I really
and set
don't,
these pads up?
I don't know what they have.
I don't know. I've honestly never been out at the site or walked it, even.
I don't think there's gonna be much, cause they already, I mean, there's gonna be some obviously, but I don't.
yeah, I think just gravel's probably what they're.
Well, and I'm sure they're gonna build it up to a point, so it drains, they're probably gonna grade it to a specific grade, but I mean, just judging by the plans I looked at and the way the pad's set up in the land itself, it's not like it's gonna be some monumental
No.
dirt project.
Are they driving piling?
I don't think so.
I don't remember any part of the piling, cause even with the anchoring
I
of
thought
the,
that they're driving
I
piling, they do
thought they
attach
were
the
too, I
slabs.
originally thought they were gonna put like 6 or 8 pylons in, and then there's concrete slab that goes over the top of that, and
That they
then.
bring.
yeah, but are
in.
you talking piling, or you talking piers? Cause my understanding was is they were doing piers almost
Well,
like a trailer
piers,
house,
yeah.
like they were gonna go down
Yeah.
3-4 feet.
Yeah.
Then the slab was gonna be kinda like linked to that, then it was
Yeah,
gonna be on that, so
Piers,
it's
you're right, it's
anchored-ish.
piers, it is,
Not-
It's not,
no,
it's
I don't
piers.
think so, so
You're
I
right.
think mostly it's gonna be almost kinda like a modified trailer house foundation, essentially, then it'll be anchored to that.
Okay.
right,
That's the way I had read it,
you're
so.
right, that's,
I was gonna
that's,
say, you guys are
that's-
scaring me, I read
that's
that
what
stuff, I didn't see that anywhere.
yeah, no, piers is what they.
But yeah, I don't think it's gonna be a ton of site work, I mean, I don't think it's something they have to start in March to get done by the end of the year. I
Yeah.
don't think it's gonna be that big of a dirt project, it's gonna be more so the actual infrastructure of tying them all together, wiring wise, that's gonna be the big
I
project.
think we'll have time, I honestly
Yeah.
don't see them starting before our April meeting.
I mean, I didn't see anything in the
listen.
haul road agreement that was really that, like, short of what we want, other than I think this additional person and a couple of these requests for like proof of your permits, which, that's all just stuff I think we can negotiate on the fly, but I think we should probably get it in the agreement. You know, even if, like, just say they come next month, we don't have it perfect, we can negotiate that, but even just going forward, that should just be like the new way, and maybe we should wait until we do this project, just so we are like, oh, that's the way we wanna do it, or this way, I don't know, but I'm just saying, we can negotiate everything we've talked about into this agreement within.
It'd be interesting to talk to some of these counties that had a lot of wind farm
Yeah,
development,
Macintosh.
how they're managing it. I wonder how Macintosh is handling
Well,
it,
Macintosh is probably managing it like we were 6-8 years ago,
cause they've got.
cause this is their first one too, and they're learning, I mean, even with us, it's like our haul road agreement, we actually didn't use our haul road agreement, we used Nextera's.
Okay,
And it was pretty reasonable, other than just a few little things, like they had some stuff like there's no jury trial, it's gonna be a mediator in the state of the incorporation. Which I was like, well, I was against it, but I was the only one, but I remember thinking like, that's a bunch of crap, we're not gonna mediate in Delaware. You know, but I got overruled, but it never came to that anyway, that's been a big deal, but they had like a 3-page haul road agreement, and they kinda gave us the like, you sign this or we don't sign nothing, and we were kind of unsure of ourselves and the law. And it wasn't like it was some egregious contract, but knowing what I know now, if I would go back in time to that meeting, I'd take their haul road agreement and throw it in the garbage just to show them that I know we could do that.
yeah,
I'd grab it and straighten it out and probably sign it again,
Yeah.
but
And you know,
I let them know that we could do that, because at that time I'm like, oh, I don't wanna
that's the nice
screw
thing
up.
about our 3% and paying 50% of it at this point, because it gives them a little reason to wanna sit at the table and negotiate a decent haul road.
Well, and
They have
I can just tell you that just knowing what the understanding I have of some of this stuff now, like we have a lot more authority on like this haul road agreement than I knew we did 6-7 years ago, so. And I'm not saying they were unfair, I'm just saying at my point, I was like, oh, I don't know if we can do this, where now I'm just like, I don't like that, I don't like that, and you can do that, like, I mean, they might not agree with it, and you have to meet in the middle, but I would just say that we can come up with a haul road agreement that's gonna be fair to both sides and it shouldn't be a problem, so.
Okay.
Anyway.
Anything else, guys?
So, just one question. When they buy permits, are they buying permits for overload? So are we just allowing them to drive, load heavy?
It's not always weight, sometimes it's width,
Width,
height,
I can see
everything,
that.
right, there's a whole variety, and then every one of them has like kind of a scale,
Okay.
it's
But if
the-
they had an option, they'd be a lot better off not loading that heavy. For a road.
Well, it depends, multiple loads might be more expensive than hauling that one load with a permit, so I think it depends, but yeah, they are, and,
Permit gives them
and I haven't, I
a
don't.
license to overload.
You don't want that on these roads.
Well, I
But
don't
even,
know.
even with load pass though, there's certain restrictions we can implement within
That was something.
Like, I mean, we can restrict parts of, like, I haven't looked that hard into it, but we can have parameters in our own county with load pass too, like, just because there's a permit to go over 100,000, we might not allow that, and we can deny that permit until June first if we want, you know, so
But you
I-
might have a different route for a heavy load.
you can designate different routes, there's a lot of stuff in there that we haven't really explored,
If
like.
they have an option, sometimes they won't. They gotta load something, big.
Right, I
then
mean,
they-
there's no way around some of it, but
But
there's.
a lot of times they could load,
I just look at the roads coming in there from the north by Greenfelder's on that flat coming in there. And going west, like Tenby, the way it got pounded out so bad.
yeah,
I mean, I don't know what it's like south, how bad is that road, or is it good?
It has its spots.
Spots?
There's soft spots in that road too, yeah.
I don't think you grant over 80,000. You
Well,
put a limit and they load one less container, but
They're
it's
screwed then, cause I think these containers weigh 110.
well, that's what I was wondering,
they're gonna pay it.
Basically though, we can just tell them you can't put two on a flatbed, you only.
Yeah,
put
that's
one.
what I mean.
Well, and again, like the other thing to remember too is both of those roads are federal aid roads, so you might wanna be, if you can't use those roads, what roads can you use in the
Right.
county? So you're gonna have to be careful with that, but the other thing too, and I don't know this for an absolute fact, but I'm pretty sure that we can restrict that road after a rain or things like that, like
Oh,
even
yeah.
in load pass, like not just like we're gonna go and do it, but you can, like, we can put in our haul road agreement, like, after 20 hundredths of rain, you can't haul for 24. Williams
Right.
County and a lot of the oil field counties, they do that.
Oh,
And they
yeah.
actually have their own system where they send like emails and texts to the companies that are part of the system. This road is closed for 24 hours and it's usually moisture related or something too, so, there's a lot of avenues we can look at with even load pass. This stuff is already built. We don't
Yeah.
have to reinvent the wheel to do this stuff.
Yeah.
We just have to maybe be a part of their program or sign up somebody that designates that this, and there's certain things that can be done with that. And the road superintendent, everybody is a part of that, where if you hear you got some rain, it's like, you can restrict that road for 24 hours. And
I
even
think
if
we
you-
gotta do that. for the
well, I
Better
think
County.
that's where you need this person on site that's gonna stay on top of that, that's job is to manage that project. That they can call Russ, like, Russ, it's pretty greasy out here, okay, tell you what, put the signs up and for today, nobody's driving that road. That's just how it's gonna have to be.
Go ahead, Russ.
Because my understanding is just like James said, they can't come in light, it's all one container where it's a load.
Right.
So you can't lighten it up, and to my understanding.
Some of them, it's gonna be that way.
Everything is ready to go.
Yeah.
I think one container has the racks, has the batteries, has everything.
Oh, is everything
That's the
good?
way they made it sound.
That's what I understand too, it's like.
All contained in that container.
Yep, and I can swear that the number was 110,000.
Well, I'm sure they gotta do it so it can still travel like the state and federal highways and stuff, so it's gonna be around that 100,000, I'm sure. And then if there are load restrictions on 83 or something, then they're not gonna haul them loads until, and that's what's gonna restrict their project too, and so.
Is there restrictions on 34?
I don't believe so.
No.
Well, and that's gonna depend when they start too, April's not a great time to be.
Right,
You
so-
usually have load restrictions, so they're probably really not gonna be able to start till May regardless,
Is there
depending on how
restrictions?
everything goes here.
I don't think 34 gets restricted, does it?
I think it does.
Does it run, you hauled hay? It does,
Ron knows.
okay.
8 ton and Napoleon,
Right.
after Napoleon 6 ton.
And
So
so,
I think, does 13 get restricted, right, 13 or?
Oh, yeah, 13.
I think-
Oh, yeah, 1804.
I think 83 is.
83 it does,
Especially for first time.
80,000, I think, wasn't 83.
83 is 80,
Well, I don't know, maybe.
83 is federal.
but they're trying to get 126,000 now.
Yeah, I don't know, see, that's.
Well, and that's where, like I said, some of these permits are gonna dictate where some of this stuff has to go to, or, you know, maybe we do have a preference that they take the 10th road over 21st or something, or whatever, I mean, again, that's all negotiable, and 2 months from now, that might be totally flipped, and one road might be better, they might both be good, we might have a drought this spring.
Yeah, you don't know.
And you don't even have to worry about it, and we could get rain every 4 hours, and they're not doing a load for 2 weeks, it's just how it's gonna be, we gotta protect our roads, that's the point of the whole road.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully in March, we're gonna have more answers. I think they'll probably have things nailed down substantially better, and then we can,
Go
it's
from
good
there.
discussion, but then we'll have some answers to some
Yeah.
of the questions we have right now.
So, yeah, put the feelers out and talk to people, yeah. go from
Yeah, I
there.
think so, just to start off with, find out if there's even, if we, you know, Aaron had a couple guys that he had mentioned a couple months ago that he thought might be decent people.
Yeah.
Those are good guys to start off
I
with.
just picked really picky retired guys that I thought would
Those
be,
are the ones
that would
that
be
get-
very good
that's
at the
okay.
job, I don't know if any of them are interested, I just, 4 or 5 guys came to mind, of like, man, that guy would probably be really good at that job, but I don't know,
So the
so.
one
yeah.
you mentioned,
There's a
which
couple,
is-
It's a good, it's a good
it's a
start.
starting point.
Couple just really tough dudes that like to keep things clean and organized would probably be very good for the job, if one
Yeah.
of them wanted it, but, yeah,
Okay, we'll go from there. Item 2 is appoint committee member to the county committee board.
I asked Charlotte Abrams and she said she would, so
She would or would not?
she will.
Okay, I don't
Who
know.
was that, Craig?
Who?
Charlotte Abrams from Hazelton. She has the diner.
Oh, I don't know her.
everybody calls her Cece, maybe,
Cece,
that's right, she won that,
Cece.
she owns the 83 diner in Hazelton.
Yeah,
Okay,
Oh, okay.
CC.
Charlotte Abrams.
Please spell it out.
Yeah, don't put Cece, that's her nickname,
AB.
but everybody knows her, yeah, that's right.
So we have to do we need
Well, you'd have to make a motion.
motion?
I
to
think
accept
Ryder
or
Astor
appoint?
can make the motion.
Well, I make a motion to nominate Charlotte Abrams for the committee.
To the county committee board.
Right.
Is there a second to that already? Go ahead.
I don't know her, but I guess.
I don't either.
She's better.
She's coming back to you anyway.
She's
since
a
you-
better.
Okay. I'll second
It's
that
coming
motion.
back to Craig if it's
Is there any discussion in regards to it, or all good? Okay, we got a second by Gardner, all in favor,
Aye.
opposed, motion carried. Okay, new business, item A, Christina Sepna, mobile home delinquent on taxes.
What about the
Debate.
Are
airport?
we gonna do the airport update under old business?
Oh, yeah, we
Yeah,
can, let's do it, get it done.
Well, we can move it down the list too, I just wanted to let you guys know that I did meet with that airport authority. Conversations, kinda steered, so Craig Schurmeister getting appointed
Yeah.
to that board, you know, he's from the Hazelton area, so he's outside of the city of Lytton already. And then the discussion was had that maybe we should keep it to a 5-person board and then have at least 1 person from the county and then 1 person from the county commission.
Okay,
So that way there's kind of like a, you know, cause otherwise
sprinkle.
it's tough when you wanna get 7 people, cause it's hard enough to get 5 people to serve on a board, then you grow it to 7, then you gotta get these people that fit in this box of where they live. So for now, for the sake of trying to be productive, kinda agreed to just maybe keep it at 5. And then, Bruce Orlock was gonna resign, cause he was thinking about resigning anyway, once they found a replacement. And then, since I'm big mouth and wanted to be on this helpful thing, I told him I would be the county commissioner on the board for at least the remainder of my term, so for this year anyway, I'll be the county commissioner to serve on that board, and Sharon was gonna get kind of like a memorandum of understanding that you're gonna have a county commissioner, someone from outside the city of Lytton is like the county representative, which right now would be Craig Schurmeister, since he's had 1 meeting in the spot, he's pretty new. And then there'd be 3 members from the city of Lytton, which, you know, one's a city board member, one, you know, so it's got a pretty good mix, at least to start. And then we did just kind of go over kind of the financials and just kind of like the direction of the airport, and it was a pretty productive meeting for the most part, and
Good.
just looking for some ideas on how to try and, you know, make it more efficient, maybe, you know, a little more revenue generating in certain areas, just to try and be more supportive and self-sustaining, and
Let's
see how-
talk about that. I visited with an agronomist and went through one of the elevators, and
Yeah.
he kind of explained the whole process to me, and I'd be more than happy to sit down and talk to you about what he was talking
Well,
about.
that'd be good,
as
because
far as
the more
ways to
information,
generate
the
more
better,
revenue.
because it seems like there's a pretty kind of fuzzy area on what the airport can and can't do because it receives public funds, like there's things it can't charge for, there's things it can. There's things they probably don't even know they can and can't do, like no offense to them, just, it's like anything, you don't understand it till you go through it, so that's what I'm trying to hopefully bring to them, is just the idea of like, sometimes you just gotta ask tough questions, you gotta be a part of tough decisions. Maybe you gotta try things that maybe necessarily aren't perfect, and so I think we got a pretty good meeting where we had some spitballing ideas of like things we should keep checking into and trying to just hopefully improve things to the point where, you know, we can probably try and reduce these mill levies and, you know, not be totally supportive of it forever, but.
Yeah, some of this stuff would take the airport kinda out of it and put the agronomy company and the pilot in charge of that, and go back to charging farmers a little bit more money, which was brought up at the public hearing by multiple landowners that were at that public hearing, so that's what I, if you don't mind.
Yeah,
we could get
But I
together.
guess, I mean, just as an overall update of it, you know, I did attend a meeting, and then there will be a county commissioner on that board, that's gonna be kind of the new makeup, as well as something from outside of it, and so, it is moving forward anyway, the next meeting, I believe, is the beginning of March, so.
I would love to see me personally, another person from the county.
Yeah.
And the only reason is I just think the more county involvement in that airport, the less suspicion that it's, well, it just, you know, it's just always been a suspicious thing, the airport to people, they've been suspicious of how it's ran and where the money goes and how it works, and it's a private airport, and none of that's true. You know, it's audited every year with the city, and I just think the more people that we can get involved, that are involved in whether they own a plane, used to be a pilot, whatever, from the county, the better off. You know, I like the idea of a commissioner, a city councilman, but after that, in my opinion, the more people you can get from outside of the city of Linton, the more involvement you have from the county. That's just my opinion.
I don't disagree with that at all,
Yeah.
so, I mean, I think it was a good process moving forward, at least like get a commissioner on that board,
Right,
which
I
kind of
agree.
creates some accountability with like, if funds are going from the county, there should be at least a commissioner on that board. And I think going forward, those kinds of changes, maybe it does go to a 7-person board, but for the moment, the agreement was like 5's enough, let's keep moving forward. But yeah, you're not wrong at all, so.
Is there anything in century code on the number that should be on that?
If I remember right, I think you could go all the way up to like 13 or something like that, it was kind of a similar
Okay,
board
so-
with that, cause I thought Sharon gave me the century code on that deal, there's like 4 pages on airports, which is surprising for century code, there's a lot in there, but
Yeah,
I thought it could go all the way up to, like, there was a specific number, but
so the minimum is 5 then?
I think the minimum is,
Well, and they've been very
Pretty close,
reluctant,
5.
the airport board, to go over 5 because
Yeah.
they've had trouble finding members, but I think opening it up to the county
Right.
would
Right.
make it, you know, I agree with you 100%, just sticking with 5 for now, and if down the road, it seems like it would be better to have a few more opinions and ideas. I just think they had trouble, that was why they were very reluctant when we met with them, you know, when they came to the meetings, is because I think they just had a heck of a time finding somebody that lived in Linton that would be on that board, and I think opening it up to the county kind of changes that dynamic, I think there are people interested in it.
I think that's a good idea.
But anyway, yeah,
There's
so-
There's that, I don't know, there's
Well, there
that
just is.
taste by the public that it's all linked together.
Yeah, it's always like that, I mean,
And
you
it's
go to
not.
any county in any city, that's just a thing that happens in small counties and
Yeah.
small towns, I just think opening it up to more members in the county is not a bad thing, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
so yeah, I did attend a meeting, and there's gonna be, since it was like later in January, we just agreed to do like March again now, cause every date we picked in February, somebody had something going on, but March was far enough ahead, we figured everybody could make a plan, so I think our plan is to meet monthly, at least for the foreseeable future, so that's the plan as of now, or at least that's how it's working, so.
Okay, sounds good.
Yep.
All good? Okay, let's move on then to item A. Christina Seven, a mobile home delinquent on taxes and abatement. You're
Morning.
recording this.
We're not supposed to start that till 4:05.
4:05, yeah.
9:20.
If we're here at 4:05, I'm not gonna be very impressed. That is,
Sorry.
You're way early.
Would you like to sit back in the far corner and wait your time?
we're here by noon.
I mean, you can sit here till 4 if you wanna wait for us to come back.
Yeah, right.
Josh will keep the camera on, you go ahead.
No,
So we have a mobile home owned by Hazel Buck that the Buck family said they do not intend on paying the taxes for 25 nor 26. They are abandoning the property. So we need to determine what to do with it, so that, do we wanna abate the taxes and then what do we wanna do with it from there, so that we don't end up getting hit with lot rent charges.
So my understanding is this is in the sunshine.
It's in Sunrise.
Or sunrise.
That's by the pool, right?
Yeah, and is it livable or is it
No,
garbage?
no.
Okay, alright. Yeah, I was just thinking if it was livable, we just give it to the trailer court and they can
Rent it.
find.
Well, have we had any contact with the, I believe it's the Remix that own that?
They don't know what to do with it either.
Okay. I mean, the only thing I can think of,
I don't know that they've gotten any payment on their lot rent.
right, you know, so whether or not they wanna take it on or not, but I think before we just treated it like any other house, just gets hauled away or
All
demoed.
the way.
Mhm.
Is it that big of a deal to tear this, well, not that big, to tear the skirting off? We'd have to hook the water underneath. Sewer.
I
pull it off.
I mean, with a
don't know
mobile
that.
home anyway, if I remember right, I think that happened in that trailer court once or twice when I've been commissioner and I mean, one thing about a mobile home, it's mobile.
Yeah,
That or even, I think one of them we might have tore apart right on the spot down to the frame and then just hauled the frame out with like a pickup, basically just got an axle or two under it cause the house is gone.
Is it tight with other trailers or is it,
No, it's sitting all by itself.
okay?
what are your thoughts, Russ? You've tore a few places down. Seriously.
It's not a big deal to go in and get it out of there. I mean,
It's not,
probably a 1, maybe 2 day deal at most.
okay.
Do
The
we have
water
time?
and sewer and stuff is just, they got shut offs and everything for everything, so you can just whack it off and
Do we have time to do that real quick before it gets nice? I mean, I know it's been nice, so you've been doing some stuff, but.
we could, I guess, if that's the consensus, we can go in there and get it out.
We take it up to the city dump.
Then where do you have to take it?
Yeah,
You can take, most of it can go to the city dump to Meadows or go over to like Wishick or something like that, but when you tear them apart, you can basically lift the floor right off the frame, there's not.
You're gonna pretty much separate it from that metal frame pretty easy, and then, I mean, depending on the situation, if the axles are terrible, you might be able to just go torch it into pieces and
Yeah.
throw it on a trailer, or if there is an axle or two under it without the weight of the trailer, you might be able to air up the tires, get it out of there, take it out to the county shop or something for now and cut it up or whatever, but
Okay.
I can't remember specifically, but I feel like we did that once or twice in the past with, I wanna say it was even in that area, or it was just in another town where it was a mobile home, and it was just,
I think if we can get to it, we should and just debate it.
cause I don't know
Just
what else,
abate-
yeah.
abate it and take
So what do we do,
possession of it.
just pay the tax off to the
We just.
owner of
we
the
just eat it.
trailer court and done deal?
Well, if I can comment here, so we already started the process.
I read that.
Okay, procedure. And I talked to Christina to pump the brakes on this whole process before we get ownership of this because of some liabilities that's imposed by the county, such as, I mean, we own it, we're liable for lot rent. I don't believe that's, the records are seeking that, but that's one of the things too. So if we abate it, we walk away, we don't own it, okay? Then it becomes the property owner where the land sits on, which is the owners of the trailer park to do with it what they want, because we don't have it, but if we abate the taxes, we forgive the taxes, we're still gonna go in and remove it then? Is that, am I understanding right?
Well, if they're not, if they're not paying the taxes, they're not going to pay the taxes. I think we just get in there and remove
We
it.
serve the owners of the trailer house twice, personal service up in Burley County, the sheriff's office served them. And so forth, and they've indicated they have no intentions to pay it, they're not going to, they've walked away with it, but there's still a legal process that has to be
Right.
followed for us to go ahead and move this, because we don't quite own it yet, okay?
Well, I would say
But if
once
we
the
abate
process is
the taxes,
done.
forgive the taxes, are we still going to go in and do that then, I guess that for clarity?
My opinion is yes.
Okay,
I say we take ownership, abate the taxes and remove it. I mean, Remix bought that not that long ago, and I think anything we can do to help out a group of guys that are trying to run a little business in town and in the county, I mean, they're not gonna pay for it, and I don't think it's their problem. I mean, that's just part of doing business as a county. No
And
different than a
I
city.
agree with you that, just so we're all on the same
Yeah,
page,
yep.
so that there's not.
So is there gonna be recourse if we take ownership of it?
Well, not if we follow the process.
Well,
We're gonna get ownership.
we can seize the property, then we have to follow then the protocol for seizure of property. Okay, we have to post that, we have to put no trespass, and there's a time period that has to be followed before we go in and do it,
Right.
okay, so. Just so we're all on the same
That's
page.
what we have to do.
The assumption of my conversation was that that process was gonna be followed or is already done, so that's
Yeah.
where, like, I wasn't gonna just be like, yeah, go in and rip it out, but, no, I mean, and the other thing too is that, you know, the conversation probably needs to be had with probably the lot owners too,
Right.
because they do have a responsibility to the fact that it is their tenant and their, so, you know, can they meet us halfway on some costs or do something? I mean, I'm fine with helping out because with the county collecting taxes, it is our responsibility too, like to a point. It's also their responsibility because it is gonna be an improvement to their property,
Yep.
getting rid of one of these houses so they could rent it out or what, so. That probably needs to be part of the conversation too, is before we go through this process, like. I mean, can they pay maybe any dump fees and we'll do the labor, whatever, I mean, that. But I just, if it's gonna be a situation where this house is gonna sit there in like a limbo that the county owns, we need to get rid of it.
Yeah.
If, you know, and maybe Remix want it, I don't even know, where that conversation could be had where like after, maybe they don't want it cause they don't know how the process works, once the process is like, well, you can have it and do what you want with it. Maybe they want it, so the conversation probably needs to be had with them more than anything on what the process should be, and I don't think we should probably just tear it down totally for free, but the option is there for us to just remove it, cause I don't wanna sit on some trailer house, especially like
Right.
some old, you know, 60-year-old mobile home that's, if the people that owned it don't even wanna pay taxes on it, it's probably not very good.
Right.
So
So,
you haven't run a notice in the paper that this is for
No,
sale?
there's no notice in the paper, but there's notification to the property owners and so forth, and there's a time period that has to be followed, and we can't put the brakes on that till this hearing.
Yeah.
Okay, cause now, if we're gonna go forward with this, then we need to post that, secure that trailer house, no trespassing
Yep.
signs, we need to give proper notification again to the property owners in Bismarck, so that Burley County serve them again. And there's a clock, and there's a time frame there for that, so.
so and you'd have to go through that process before you could even offer it to the current home landowners, cause we don't have the
Yeah,
ability,
absolutely,
it's
yeah,
not
you have-
ours.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Okay,
well,
So who
I'll
would be,
pause my conversation, cause I was under the presumption that basically it's ours or it's about to become ours, but.
Chris, would you be willing to contact the landowners?
Yeah, I can.
And
I
just
can
visit with them
probably
and just tell them what our thoughts are and see if they would be willing to pay some dump fees or, you know, if we would be,
Yeah, I'll
if we would go
contact
through the
them again and
process or if
see
they
what-
want it or,
What their mind,
and then just email
and they'll
us.
talk to you.
yeah, they talked to me about several things, and last year they did haul away two piece of garbage homes that were out there on their dime. You know, they didn't ask us to help with that at all, they hauled them out themselves.
If they wanna haul this one, let them.
Well, I mean, I think there is.
Well, they needed a little arm twisting, but they did it.
Well, because I think there's a common piece here, which is that, you know, you also have probably a nuisance scenario too, you know, so we wanna make sure it gets taken care of. Probably makes sense for the county to take it over because you can't really control where it goes. You know, like, if you wanna dismantle it or get rid of it, like for the Remix to take it is probably a far more legal process than us. The people that have it don't want it, they're abandoning it. Probably makes sense for the county to take control of it. We either tear it out, give it to the Remix, meet in the middle with some kind of tear out scenario, and it gets taken care of. That's probably the best scenario of this item
Agreed.
getting taken out.
Yep.
Otherwise, any other way might create some kind of a nuisance, legal issue, now we're in the middle of something else. Somebody wants to buy it for $1 and cause a problem, like, it's probably best to just handle it.
just so we're all on the same page
Yeah.
as far as what we're gonna go going forward.
Well, I think, do you need some kind of a motion for us to continue the process for the county to end up taking control of it?
Well, we're looking at, first of all, that we wanna just abate the taxes then, so that we can continue the process.
Yeah, I think,
Notifying them.
I'll make that motion to abate the taxes on this trailer house,
It's,
so.
Mr.
currently
Rogers makes
it's
a motion,
$190.24.
$96 and some odd cents, right?
Well, no, it's $190.24 for the 2
Include that in the
years,
motion.
and that doesn't include any of the penalties.
That does not include any of the penalties.
Yeah, yeah, so that's for 2 year.
Okay.
I'll second the motion to abate the taxes on the said property.
Okay. All in favor of the abatement, whether it's, this trailer house issue on Bucks proper, or on the Reddick property at the Sunrise Trailer Court? There was a motion and a second. All in favor of this, to pay the taxes off and penalties and all?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Well,
So
you're,
my question with the Remix would be about the lot rent, you know, if we do take it over, I agree with Gary. We need to make sure that they're not gonna come back after us and say, hey, you know, you owe us like,
700.
yeah, that's why I was thinking
Well,
like
it would
$2,500.
just be from the time we actually take possession of the
Right.
trailer, so, yeah.
well, and that was where my conversation was leading to, it's like, for what it would take to tear it out, why pay lot rent? That's where I guess why I thought we were leading to with that conversation, so if, as soon as it's ours, if they basically, you know, I mean, at the same time, I would argue that if they were like, no, we're not gonna do nothing, you guys said you would tear it down, it's like, well, I mean,
I think they'll be willing to work with us.
well, I think we should be able to come some kind of understanding, I think it's for the betterment of everybody involved on it, cause these mobile homes on these private properties are kind of a tricky deal, because it's like private property, but then the mobile home is like a vehicle, and so there's this like weird, so, I guess whatever.
Yeah, let us know what they say.
Okay, I'd
Well,
like to,
and just for clarification, once we abate the taxes, okay, we don't necessarily own it, we're just forgiving the taxes.
Right.
Right,
Okay, then it becomes like abandoned property, but we're willing, the county is willing to help with the removal of the property.
mm-hmm,
So this is a big, big benefit to the owners of the trailer.
Mm-hmm. Right.
The county is stepping forward to say, we will get this out of here, but give us a little leeway. So, I mean, yeah, we're not obligated or required to do this, so.
no, and that's why I said, I think a conversation needs to be had with them guys, probably splitting the bill or something, or, you know, something, cause it's.
I think that's becoming a real problem in these little towns, these old abandoned houses that are absolute
Well, this is,
ruins.
you know, when you talk about these trailer homes like this that are, you know, 1960s models and early 70s, I mean, you get into the Williston area during the oil boom and everything else, this was a real big problem for Williams County. So a lot of these, they weren't worth the hassle, the cost factor to get these out of these trailer parks. So they just debate them and said, it's not our problem, it becomes the people that own the land,
Right,
it's your problem, you can figure it out.
It happened on North 26th Street in Visitor. When you go north of 26th, on the left side, that old trailer park, they're abandoning it completely.
What's changed in recent though is the pricing of houses in these small towns.
Okay.
People are willing to fix some of these up, you know, like this last one that we gave to the city in Linton here. That thing was like 700 square feet, and the lot was a 50 by 50 foot lot, I mean, it was just a tiny, so, I mean, they did have somebody actually come look at it, but it was just too small, everything was too small, but a lot of these houses, people are actually willing to flip them if the bones are decent, you know, rather than tear down, but some of them are just, that's why.
not a 60-year-old single wide.
No,
Like, that's
no.
where, this is such
Yeah,
a weird
this one's a
situation, cause
different
like,
deal,
this one's,
absolutely.
nobody's gonna want it, and
Yeah,
it's gonna get
no.
drug out to some section line somewhere at
Yeah.
some point, we're gonna be tearing it down out of the section line, you might as well get it
Yeah.
while it's on paper. Like, I'm not a fan of this, I think the mobile home park owner should take care of it, but the county does have this weird liability because of the property tax link, and that's where it just needs to get taken care of,
Yeah.
it's just one of them things, it's just kind of a weird hybrid. If this was sitting out on 5 acres, the county would never touch it, because
Right.
somebody would be getting it through an auction or something, it would not be an issue,
Yeah.
but this rented mobile home on private property, what we collect property tax on it is just a weird dynamic.
Yeah,
We have some responsibility to it, probably not all of it, and
that's why,
Is there a lean-to of this in a garage or nothing?
no.
Nothing,
Oh.
okay.
that's why I've talked before the last few months about a county agreement with the cities in Emmons County on tearing houses down, sharing costs.
Yeah,
I just think we need to do something, like I said, in Emmons County, our law enforcement sits right there, not the Linton PD or the Strasburg PD or the Hazelton PD. It's a county problem now, these houses going to less desirables and causing issues in these small towns.
Is there any shed on this place in the back of it? Nothing, okay.
So do you gotta let the owners know again, Gary?
Yeah,
there'll be a
we'll
process.
start that process, we'll have them legally served again.
Is it a mess like down here?
What's that?
Is there a mess around this, like a hotel? No, okay.
I'd like to add two things to the agenda, either now or at 4 o'clock.
Yeah, let's push it off at 4.
Okay, I have, a homeowner that, I've been bugging to get a building permit in. And I've sent him a letter and I've sent him an email and they haven't came in and the project's already done. It looks like it was done sometime in 2022 or 2023. They added a garage onto their house and they changed their garage into living space and they said they would come in and fill out a building permit, but they haven't. So I'd like to maybe get somebody that has a little more oomph in their signature, maybe send him a letter, if that's okay. This is the person.
Sounds good.
That's,
Put some teeth to her, Joe.
that's
Send me an
kinda
email
ironic.
again.
Huh? I know a few of those that it's happening on.
Well,
I had someone ask.
sounds like our tax assessor's cracking down on it, one at a time.
In the cities and all,
What's
where they're
that?
changing these garages and living quarters.
Sometimes I don't always get a building permit. When I find something, I try to bug them over it.
I had someone ask me, what do we have, forgive the expression, but what kind of teeth do we have in the law of permitting if they don't?
Well, right now, I think we, first of all, we can charge them double on the building permit, when they come in, if it's already been started or finished.
Right,
We can you guys can determine if you want them to tear it down,
okay, that was asked last, but.
It's been an ongoing problem over the last decade, especially with a lot of development along Lake Oahe, Cattail, Beaver Bay, and so forth. It's better to ask, it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission. And I've had that conversation with many people, through the 911 system where they want their address assigned. I said, we'll get your building permit. And then I said, at least fill out the application for the permit. And then I will assign an address. Well, my bank needs it and everything, but otherwise they're not gonna call. And I've had this conversation with people, you're not getting it to at least apply for the building permit.
Yeah,
And some are really resistant on even seeking a building permit because they wanna stay off the radar for
yeah,
taxation purposes, and they might be putting up a, $100,000 cabin out there. But yeah, it's been problematic, and the problem is,
That's the nature of people, I can't believe.
it is, but the thing is, what is the county policy for not obtaining a permit, right?
Yeah.
Okay, some jurisdictions, it's my understanding, they have, okay, if you have a $100,000 project, their penalties are 10%, 20% of what the project, or something like that. Obviously, most, if not all, are not gonna tear down a house or whatever. I mean, the county's ran into it with grain bins in the past, you're not gonna go out there tearing down concrete. But having something in place that has some teeth in it, or some penalties that I better get one, because I don't wanna pay this percentage of what the overall project is. If your permit is simply $100 permit, I'm just not gonna get it, and if I get caught, then I'll pay the $100 later.
Nice hefty fine would probably.
There should be a hefty fine on that deal.
Well, and again,
something.
Cause some people with the mentality, I don't need to do this. Just because you have it in place in the county, I'm not doing it.
1% of the appraised value?
Maybe it's a $250 permit, bump it to 500.
well,
Can't
like I
charge
said,
penalty
that's
and
something
interest on
that can be looked at later, how do you approach this one? It's an ongoing problem.
Yeah,
And where they resist it, and just, I'm not gonna get one, do you impose a penalty based on a percentage of the overall assessed value of the project, or do you, I don't know.
I would say, yeah.
Yeah, we got, yeah.
I was asked that question by someone from another county, so.
Well,
I didn't know the
the
answer.
problem is everybody hates taxes,
Yeah, we all do.
but tax revenue is what drives your cities,
The
your
livelihood.
counties, everything. Without it, you have nothing. We're in the Wild West again. You have no,
Well, and with that permit system, and it explains to people, there's also ordinances, setbacks.
Yeah,
There's sewer guidelines, and a lot of people don't realize that, so at least if they get the permit, they'll find out what those setbacks are, they'll find out that they gotta have certain things done prior to or during the construction phase, which again, educates them.
Association. Setbacks, it's a red line.
Well, that's something we
It
would,
was discussed yesterday at this conference
oh,
on Northwest Landowners Association. And an attorney by the name of Derek Broughton addressed it. That it's kind of a fine line and a touchy line when you impose setbacks and whatever on someone's property. Because you're taking property away from them and that they can't control no longer, and yet they own it. It's a fine line from a legal aspect. So you don't know, when I sit and listen to this discussion on setbacks and all, it's a touchy deal.
it is, but a lot of those setbacks and those, septic systems and all that stuff, that's state driven. I mean, that's not necessarily a county thing, that's a state thing, I mean, that's a health, there's a reason that they.
Well,
They do
even on the
this stuff.
setbacks, again, my office, we get a lot of these calls, setbacks. So, for example, the city of Hazelton recently had a construction project on Main Street. You know what I'm talking about, new bank. And, the city of Hazelton has no setback. So they put that foundation literally 6 inches, 8 inches.
No, it's
from
right
the-
on the sidewalk.
Yeah, right on the
Right to the
border,
side.
and that has caused all sorts of problems up there with the neighbors, with the city. And the same thing too, I mean, even with neighbors, right, if there's not some kind of setback that even municipalities or whatever have, hey, say 10 feet back from the border. Because again, we believe the property line is here, but it's never been surveyed, then that they build and they find out, oh, you're 3 feet into my property. That, it protects everybody, but that Hazelton issue, I got called up there twice for very
Heated.
Well, and
discussions.
the limited amount that I know about that is, if I remember right, there was some kind of variance issued by the city, either officially or non-officially.
oh,
That is the reason why they built like 6 inches off the property line and right on the sidewalk of the street.
That was grandfathered.
Well, I wouldn't say grandfathered, but did just one commissioner tell him it was okay, or was there an actual document from the city that allowed it? But that's the reason why the variance process is even touchier than the setbacks.
Oh, yeah.
Because now all of a sudden, the person that poured that foundation in Hazelton is not the person building the building, it's not even the same contractors, it's 20-year gap.
Yeah.
So now, you have a business and a contractor who took this foundation over, which is good for the city, right, and they're building on it. It's bad because everybody hated where that foundation was, and a lot of them wanted it tore out and taken out. So where's this line? And that's where the variance thing is tough, because you can talk about, well, Materi told me one time at the gas station that I can put my fence there. Well, that doesn't mean anything, but that's happened here.
Oh, yeah.
And the name like Ozzie Miller and them come up occasionally, because that's where you'll send a letter and you're like, well, I was buddies with Ozzie Miller and he said I could do that. And it's like, we don't even know if that's true. There's no documentation. And that's why I've always driven to be like, that stuff should get made in the minutes. It should be like, you should have some document, because 30 years from now, when you're 2 generations and 4 landowners away, you have no idea why this fence is here and why it was granted that way. So again,
Told me I could do it.
Getting back to the building permits, that's why you do force these building permits, because if you let it slide, in 20 years, they find out there wasn't a building permit, it could go to a court process and all this stuff. So I think you have to demand building permits, even though we don't have an inspection process in the county. What are we after mostly, right? Christina's after different stuff. As commissioners, we're after setbacks mostly, right? Wanna make sure they're not building on people's property, not building too close to the roads. But you still have to have this process followed, so I don't know, is there law restricting some of them penalties? I thought we looked into that once before.
well, we already have it, but we just kinda figured out. so
Right.
We'd have to amend them moving forward.
Well, I don't think we really have to amend them, though, we kinda did nail this down, right? We were doubling the fee and.
Oh, yeah, we'll get the building permit, I already reached out to him, so.
Right,
But I'll
so,
send them
Oh,
out.
okay.
so I think this
So we
is,
do have a policy.
well, we had, the policy always was that we doubled the permit fee if they were building without a permit, or it was built without a permit.
The thing is, a lot of farmers are exempt from the permit fee, so doubling a $0 permit fee
Is zero.
We ran into that, so.
Yeah,
Is that
a lot
on
of
the-
farmers don't even submit one.
Right,
Yeah.
but the
So
truth of the
they're
matter
required
is
to.
though, is since it's free, they still should be getting a permit, like, that's the problem,
Yeah.
like, so the enforcement level on that is probably different. You know, cause they are exempt, and that's actually a state law, I believe, on exemption for that, that's not necessarily a county thing,
Is that
but.
on their dwelling or just the built farm building?
Well, that's, you'd have to look into the law and specifics and some of that stuff,
The
but.
farm buildings are exempt, and then the house they have to file yearly.
So to shingle it outbuilding, you need to file for a permit,
You're supposed to.
but you don't
file
pay a
for-
fee.
Right, you're supposed to file for anything that any construction whatsoever.
Okay,
But if you don't, you get fined, but yeah.
But if you're a farmer,
Yep.
there's no penalty.
Well, the
Two
idea
times
is that
zero
if
is
it ever
still-
becomes a non-farm property though, you know what's going on there for
Right,
that non-farm, because then it will be taxed.
right,
Right.
that's the
And that's what
reason
people
for the
need to
permit
understand.
process.
But
not
you try
necessarily-
to tell the farmers
Yeah.
that they gotta file a permit, and they're gonna be like, why, I don't pay taxes on it. I get a lot of guff just getting the farm exemptions, and
Once again, going back to taxes do drive what we do in the county, and that's why down the road, you might not pay taxes now, down the road, somebody, you or somebody else may have to pay taxes on that.
and they don't care about that.
Not pay, well, I realize that, but, and you can fix that, there's just some people that just don't give a crap no matter what you tell them, and that's everywhere.
yeah. Anything else, Christie?
I just wanted to mention that Karina is listed her house for sale because her husband got a pretty good job in Sioux Falls, so she hasn't given notice, but she will be once her house sells.
Not interested in commuting or?
No,
So when would her date be, or final?
she hasn't even put in her notice yet, she's waiting till the house sells, so I just wanted to put that on your radar.
Yeah, it's like any other house in Linton.
So you're gonna look for some help?
I think I would like to start looking, but I also don't wanna, I don't know
For sure,
what
just leave it.
what her house is, when her house is gonna sell.
I think I would
either,
wait
so.
doing anything until you get
Yeah.
some official notice, so.
Right.
Anyway.
Otherwise, anything else is just hearsay at this
Yeah.
point, so.
I just wanted to put that on the radar.
Okay.
Okay, thanks. Thanks, Christie.
Thank you.
Yep.
Item B, Gary Sanders, update on sheriff's office.
Good morning.
Morning.
Morning, Gary.
So, yeah, just bring you up to date on some staffing issues. I've had some conversations with some of you individually and so forth, but going into the fact that we're going to be short-staffed. We have been short-staffed actually since July, and that's just gotten worse. And we're taking applications and so forth, but come March, the end of February here, I'll be extremely short-staffed, which is gonna put some strain on myself and one other officer, that's for sure. And what I'm seeking is we get to that basically March, compensation for being short-staffed. It's gonna extend our hours probably at least 80 hours each per month. And I'm looking right now, I'm looking at 4 to 5 months, probably July, August, before we may get back to where we need to be, partially. I've got very few applicants. We've been advertising since November. And it's not looking good. And this is a problem statewide in the law enforcement community. It's not just here, it's everywhere. You don't see the candidates coming through the Devil's Lake Academy. You know, they used to run 20, 30 through there. I think this class of guys.
Turn on the news, why would
Pretty
you want to be a
minimal.
cop?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right.
So anyway, my proposal was for that compensation that I'll have some vacancies, some positions that are not gonna be paid. And taking one of those positions and splitting it, basically, during those months. As soon as I can get at least one other officer back on duty full-time, then, you know, reassess it at that point. But it's gonna be several months before we get to that point. So I do have a officer hired, conditional offer was accepted. He will not start till March, but he, again, with his training and stuff, you're looking at probably 2 months in my office before he's allowed to be out on his own. And then he's gonna have to attend the academy for 13 weeks, and that puts him into August before he's available to be into the schedule. So and, still leaves me some vacancies in my office.
I see the highway patrol more often down this way.
I've talked to the lieutenant, talked to the colonel, we have a verbal understanding, that they'll try and schedule more guys down here for that reason. Talked to, McIntosh County, Sheriff Dells are over there too, he'll assist where he can, when he can, if need be. But yeah, pretty much we're kind of standing alone on this issue right now, but yeah.
How does that work when they come from a different county?
Well, I mean, we cross deputized, obviously. When Sheriff Delzer was short-staffed over there, kind of in the same situation we were a year ago, I went over, worked a couple of weekends for him, one of my deputies did. They compensated us through their thing, they paid the county, we used our patrol car. They paid for the fuel, they compensated the county on a rental fee, and because our cars are set up with our CADs or our laptops, we've got all our equipment, we know where it's at and everything else, so which is easier for us to go over and work that using our equipment, and they compensated the county then for that and so forth, so he's agreed to do the same thing when he can, so. So what I'm seeking again is the compensation part, just because I am an exempt employee. The board needs to approve that, and I think our policy does allow that in certain situations, and I think this definitely meets that criteria. It's something beyond our control, we're not talking a week, we're not talking a month, we're probably talking the next 4 months. Questions, I guess, for me, or?
So basically you were looking to kind of like split a monthly salary essentially is kind of
Yep,
what you're.
between myself and one other officer, correct.
Right,
Yep,
so you're just basically taking one deputies that you
Yep.
have budgeted.
that's already budgeted for, so it's not in addition to any budgeting things, it's, yeah, exactly. It's like, it's going to amount to about 80 hours a month.
He gets overtime paid out.
What's that?
So you get overtime paid out.
He can, I've already talked to that officer about this, we can pay the overtime, it's just an easier way to get track of this, it's gonna be cheaper to do it this way, versus the actual time and a half. So,
Yeah, the only problem is we start splitting somebody's pay and then another department runs into a problem and then we're supposed to split there's no real consistent way if we run into this problem in another department. I personally would
Okay.
rather see we set so many overtime hours and then if we have this in another department, we have a standard that we set rather than a
Yeah.
precedent.
okay, yeah, no, I understand.
Yeah.
Cause it's, I mean, the sheriff's department is structured kind of the same as the other departments where the department head is non-exempt, but the employees are exempt.
Well, you have exempt and non-exempt employees in the county.
Right,
So elected officials, department heads are exempt.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
But the deputies, basically deputies are hourly,
They're not.
sheriff is not.
They got a base salary, but they get overtime if they work over.
Right, well, everybody's base salary is based on an hourly rate. We do it by monthly, though, the
Right.
county, for the most part, with the exception that the road department only works on an hourly rate.
Yeah.
Otherwise, everybody else is a monthly salary, based on 173 hours, 0.33 hours on a 40-hour week. That times 12 comes up to 2,080 hours, comes down to 40-hour week. And you have county employees that work at the courthouse, that work a 37 and a half hours.
37 and a half,
Yeah, which is a little bit less and so forth, but everything's based on an hourly rate, correct?
I just mean it because I know like you take like, I know we've had scenarios in the road department where we've been short, if the other guys are working more,
Mm-hmm.
they're an hourly with overtime, so if they're working more, they're paid more.
Right, yeah.
So it's not the same in every department, so that's the only thing when you talk about creating a precedent, you're also already created the precedent that every department's different too, so. You probably could do something like this and it's not necessarily precedent setting because every department's a little bit different with their
Well,
schedule.
I'm
and
talking like,
everything, too.
let's say Russ leaves, and then, we just can't find anybody, and Dave steps in and says, hey, I wanna split Russ's salary, well, that salary could be substantially higher than a deputy's salary, is what I'm saying. If we set a number or you know what I mean? Or we just go off of that deputy's wages and give him so many hours of overtime, I don't think we
Yeah.
kinda, that's where I'm saying, we kinda set a little bit of a precedence, because it depends whose salary we're taking half of and splitting. It could be an
Right.
$80,000 salary, or it could be a $45,000 salary, and
Well, and I don't disagree with this, I mean, just to be clear, the sheriff's department making sure we're properly compensating, I don't think anybody's disagreeing with,
yeah.
right? It's just a
yeah.
matter of how to do it. I'm only making the argument that the sheriff's department is a little bit of a unicorn in the sense that it is a 24/7 department. I mean, yeah, technically, like the road department is too, but the road department doesn't schedule to work weekends, it's just, it happens or it
Right.
doesn't.
Right,
Almost anything around here, election season, yeah, the auditor's office is a lot busier than maybe some of the other, but the sheriff's department is 24/7. And so, like, when you talk about precedent, it's hard to say that to the sense that it's already established the precedent that they have a schedule that's totally different from everybody else, so their compensation could be different. Like, if you decided to go the route that Sheriff Sanders is proposing, I don't think it sets some precedent that you have to follow with every other department, cause no department's really like their department. So that's my argument for
Yeah.
like, well, you can't do that, 'cause you have to do it for everybody else. If that's the case, then I want road department staff at 2 in the morning on a Saturday too. Well, you're not gonna get that, I'm not expecting that, but
yeah,
if you're gonna play the benefit side over here, then the responsibility side has to be over here too, and nobody really carries that like the sheriff's department, and so that's my argument, not necessarily that I don't agree with you.
yeah,
I think an accountability standpoint of just tracking hours and paying an hourly rate at a hourly rate, and then the overtime is that time and a half. If that makes it cleaner to track and safer and everybody's more comfortable with that, I don't think that's a bad thing for the sheriff's department either. I think Sheriff Sanders' idea is, this is a budgeted number
yeah,
that's easily accounted for in the fact that it's just split 50-50. It doesn't screw with the budget. You could have a scenario where you have the overtime and everything, maybe even possibly bust the budget, because you might need that overtime scenario even with one more deputy brought on or other people. So
Right.
you do have to kind of control the budget scenario enough to be like, hey, what he's proposing is not gonna bust the budget. It still leaves room to even maybe hire or, contract out additional staff and still leave room in the budget, so we're not trying to amend it at the end of
I
the year.
got an issue with this as far as their projections. It may be 80 hours a week. It's a projection. It's like selling an insurance policy.
Might be less, might be more.
Yeah, you don't know.
You don't, but I can guarantee you that, with the, days getting longer, temperatures getting warmer, our activity will start picking up. We've already got some problems with thefts in the county going on. Took another one yesterday, so we've got some issues there I gotta deal with. Yeah, we're getting, the month of February is a slower month for us, because of the temperatures, short days, everything else, but as the days get longer and the temperatures get warmer, more activity starts happening. So it's gonna be extra hours, we're struggling right now with 3 guys. And, to go where we're gonna be at next month, it's gonna be a challenge, absolutely.
I look at it, and I'm not, nothing against you, Jerry. I look at what it was when there were a lot more people in this county. A lot more.
Sure.
One sheriff, one deputy.
And you had what? A cop in Strasburg, you had one in Hazelton,
Yeah.
and you had 2 in Lytton.
But yet we abandoned the one here in Linton. There's no more in Strasburg. Do you monitor the one in Strasburg? Do you monitor Strasburg and patrol it?
Oh, yeah, it's in the county,
But
like
Linton,
everywhere
we
else.
do not, right?
No, well, we're responsible for everywhere in the county. We're the only law enforcement entity in Emmons County. There is nobody else, so it is our responsibility. We call for service, we have to go. Emergency, we have to go. Yeah,
We're not, the county sheriff is just not issuing citations for
Right.
city violations and things like
right,
that.
we're not
Is there-
enforcing city
Like,
ordinances right
if
now.
someone's speeding down Main Street in Lytton, the sheriff is still, every
Yeah,
part
we get
responsible for
complaints,
that, yeah.
whether that's a domestic or whether that's a traffic complaint
The
or
only
whether
other
that's.
thing I'll just bring to the argument is for the simple fact that what Sheriff Sanders is not really asking for is some kind of, I guess I'll just bring, on-call is not off. When you're on call, you are not off. You are not working situationally, like in your vehicle, in your uniform. But if you're on call, your vacation planning gets changed, your ability to leave town or do anything changes, like, there's gonna be a window here where it's gonna be extremely difficult for anybody working in the sheriff's department to basically leave Linton, Hazelton, or Strasburg. So,
You know,
even if they only have a 50-hour week though, you're kinda gonna always be working in this window that they're short, and that, I think, is where the compensation scenario lands, it's not like, cause it's just like, I use the example of like where my wife had to go to the ER on a weekend, and everybody that was on call had to come in, well, they only got paid for the time they were probably at the hospital necessarily, I don't know what their on-call procedure is, but like, so you work 2 hours, but you technically put your whole weekend on hold, cause you're on call that weekend, like, it's just very difficult to, find the value in that sometimes as an employee. I understand that if your salary, you're expected to work some extra overtime and extra things. I think what's happening here is probably beyond the expectation of the traditional, like, exempt employee, and that's where the conversation is landing. I don't want it to be lost on the fact that these guys are gonna be mid-bite into something, and the phone's gonna ring, and they're gonna have to go somewhere. and-
That happens quite often, but.
But it's gonna be more now, right?
Oh, absolutely.
That's the conversation, right? The conversation is this is gonna be over and above your normal, typical work schedule.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's where,
And what the proposal is far cheaper, less expense than paying overtime. Because the position that I'm looking at to split is a rate that is less than I make, it's less than Chris Vargas makes. Okay, so if you take his overtime based on his salary per hour or mine, it would be about a 40% increase from my proposal.
Well, you just got an increase of $700, didn't you, on longevity per month? If I calculate it out like roughly,
4 steps, whatever that came to.
well, it's roughly, yeah, I'm just looking at it when I got calculated out.
Right.
So it'd be about a $700 a month increase in January. It would mean that you'd get more than about a 50% increase from your December rate pay, correct?
I don't follow you, I guess.
You just received the $700 monthly increase in January.
First year,
December
yes,
rate.
yep, yeah, 4 steps, whatever that came to.
Your proposal would mean that you'd get more than a 50% increase from your December rate of pay, including the January increase that you already approved. I just feel, and I'm not just picking on you, I look at longevity.
Yep.
I look at paid salaried employees, granted you're a sheriff,
Right.
he's this, he's that.
Yep.
I've worked salary myself,
Mhm.
I never had no benefits. When the time was asked that I had to do it, I stepped up and did it. It was 2 or 3 in the morning, I did it. To get it done to report by 8 in the morning.
And Mr. Materi, I've been doing that for 32 years here.
Mhm.
Okay, 32 years already. And as an exempt employee, my average week is not 40 hours. It's closer to 50, sometimes 60, okay? But what we're looking at here in the near future, again, temporary, not full, it's not a thing, it's temporary for the next, basically to get in through the summer and probably July, August is what we're looking at. I've already had to cancel one family vacation in March because I can't leave. Okay, we were gonna plan to go to Mexico, had to cancel it, try and reschedule for February, while I still got somebody here to help work. Okay, and there's other things, and when you're on call, you have to be able to respond in a reasonable amount of time. Okay, I can't be in Bismarck and be on call. I can't be down in Strasburg in my personal vehicle, or can't be down in Hague in my personal vehicle if I'm on call. I gotta be able to respond in a reasonable manner. So any of our officers, we take calls in our office already, but that's limited when you can spread that out between 4 or 5 guys. That's not gonna be the case for the next 4 or 5 months. It's gonna be 1 or 2.
You're talking 8 months out of a 12-month period of this pay increase. Of
No, we're
3,000.
talking 4 to 5 months.
So you talking roughly till about August, before these guys are trained that you can cut it loose, correct?
Well, July or August, because if the next academy doesn't start until May, then you've got 13 weeks there. That takes him into just about August before he's back in the rotation on a full-time basis. And I haven't filled the other 2 positions yet, and I'm still hoping to try and fill those, and I don't know what that's gonna bring. I don't know.
Well, it's not my decision alone, it's a board decision. I'm just speaking what I'm thinking.
Are there any, citizens you could deputize to help you out?
That doesn't work that way.
Retired peace officer?
Number one, you gotta be licensed. Okay, I don't know of anybody that's, you have to understand how the process
If
works.
they're retired, what's it take to get your license back?
if they're retired, probably go back to the 13-week academy. They'd have to, absolutely. If you've been retired for more than a year and you haven't maintained your license, you go back to the academy.
Really?
Absolutely. And it's just not simply that someone has a license. Even if I had an officer with 20 years of experience and is fully licensed and working in the city of Bismarck, I can't cut him loose in here. He's gotta know where he's going, he's gotta know policy procedures, he's gotta know everything else. It's not that simple. The days of the sheriffs of 40 years ago are not today. Liabilities, use of force issues, it's huge. It's a big deal. And there, I've had the applicants, I washed out 2 right away for background issues. People that are huge liabilities of their history. Couldn't hire, you know. Use of force issues is huge, you know. We're not just talking about when you shoot and kill somebody, we're just talking use of force, hands on. You gotta, it's a huge liability. And, I know a lot of good, decent people in this community that would make a good officer, but they want nothing to do with it. And unfortunately, I know some people in the community that probably would not be good officers, and they'd love to do it. Can't have it. You know?
Yeah, right. Yeah, you're right.
You know,
Well, I don't disagree with you, Gary, you're gonna be spread thin, that's for sure.
very much
That's
so.
a big
And like I
problem.
said, things don't stop. They keep coming. And we're dealing with an issue right now with some thefts in the county that trying to get a handle on, and it's yeah. It's a continuous issue.
Anybody else have anything else to add?
Well, I would make the motion to accept Sheriff Sanders' proposal for compensation for his department, just because it seems to be the cleanest, most predictable way to compensate him, because the overtime thing that can be really unpredictable, and if there's one thing I like when it comes to accountability of the taxpayers, it's predictability of the budget, so that's my reasoning for supporting that, and it's also his proposal, so if he doesn't like it, it's his problem too, so I think the overtime makes it very unpredictable, and I don't like that aspect of it, so he made the proposal, he's comfortable with it, and I think it's predictable, so that's my reasoning, so I will make the motion to accept Sheriff Sanders' proposal on compensation. Temporary proposal of compensation.
Correct, yeah.
It's not gonna last forever, but temporary proposals.
For possibly 8 months.
If we don't fill that staff, that budget's sitting there with that dollar amount in it anyway, that's the reason why I'm comfortable.
This would not take effect until March.
Right.
And hopefully August it would cease.
Is there a second to the motion by Mr. Mayor? Is there a second to the motion that Aaron made?
I'll be honest, I would like to chew on this for a little bit and kind of see what, I mean, we have a whole month here before this would take effect, and we can make that decision at the March meeting, but now that it's been brought up, it's on camera, people are gonna see this. I'd like to know what the rest of the 200 or 300 people that watch this video feel like in the county. I'm not a huge fan of paying overtime for salaries. I was a military guy. I ran a fuel station in NATO headquarters. I got called on Sundays, Saturdays, at night. When we ran out of power, I had to run and make sure we had fuel, because I ran the whole camp off my fuel tanks. I'm just not a huge, I got paid as an E5, and it didn't matter if I put 100 hours a week in for the 9 months, 10 months I was over there. Railroad was the same way. They had we worked weekends, nights, had no schedule. I did that for 6.5 years.
State's Attorney Hanson can elaborate on this too, that just because an employee, regardless of what your position is salaried, doesn't mean you're exempt from overtime. My deputies are not exempt from overtime.
Right, and I get that. I get that.
I understand that.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, you take a position,
right.
everything has gotten to this point where it used to be loyalty to a company or to an employer, and now it's all about the money. And I'm not saying we're all like that, and it's just gotten to that point where people can't just say, you know what, I'm gonna take it for 3 or 4 months. No, I wanna be paid for it or I'm out of here, and like I said, I wanna chew on it a little bit, I'm not saying I'm 100% against it, I'm not saying I'm 100% for it. I just would like some feedback, I wanna know how the rest of the county feels about it. That's just where I stand on this.
I'm open to paying the time and a half of overtime. I'm perfectly fine with that. Again, my proposal is far cheaper, ease of use,
I get that.
but if it's time and a half, we can do that too, but,
It's not necessarily about the pay, it's not about the
Right.
money, it's, I just, like I said, I came from a different, and you did too, Gary, it's a different generation, but we're living in a different world where it's all financially driven instead of loyalty, and it's everywhere. And that kind of burns me because there's just it's everywhere. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not against it and I'm not for it. I just wanna know how other people feel.
it's
And
not
that's-
necessarily about the money, it's just being fairly compensated for the work that's being done.
I understand
That's what it's about. Whether that's me or whether that's my staff, that's what it's about, being compensated for. If a person has to work 80 hours of extra time in a given pay period, why should they not be compensated for that? Okay. I and my staff, on a regular basis, believe me, donate a lot of time to the county that they are not compensated for. A lot. Okay, never been an issue. We're just kind of in a situation here with staffing issues where
Yeah.
it's gonna create a hardship for those involved
I
and
understand,
their families.
and I understand that.
Okay,
Yep. Like I said, I'm not writing this off. That's not what I'm doing here. I'm just saying I'm right in the middle right now.
well, I wanna make sure that the conversation isn't about it's about the money. It's about being
I
fairly
understand.
compensated for what's going to be performed for this
I
period of time.
understand that. I do, and I'm not hammering on that, I'm just saying it's a generational thing, and that's where we've become, everything. I mean, there's a reason you don't have 25 people knocking at the door. If we paid $125,000 to a deputy, you'd have so many applicants, you wouldn't be able to keep up with, because that's just how this generation is. They wanna
You're
start at the
absolutely
top.
right on the generational thing, because I've been in this business for a long time, going on close to 40 years, okay? The days of the, law enforcement officer that works 24 hours a day, you know, and those days are gone. You're not gonna find, the small town cop that says, okay, I want you to go to work at 8 o'clock in the morning, you go out, work 4 hours, go home for 2 hours, come back out for 4 hours, go home for another 3 hours, come back out, work 4 hours. They don't exist on
Right, yep.
People that experience that are like, well, why don't people do that anymore? You're not. I want set shifts, start, stop. I want my days off. I don't want interrupted on my days off. I think we all understand that. But that generation and that era of where you used to have people that did that, that is long gone,
But we created that, and we let them get away with it.
you know?
That's why they've got that mentality.
Well, with the younger generation, it is, I mean, it's, and again, I'm preaching to the choir here. It's not what I can do for you, but what can you do for me? And that's where we're at in today's society. And that's, I've had officers that don't wanna work shift work. Well, that's what law enforcement is. I don't care who you are. You work in Bismarck, you work shift work, okay? It's not an 8 to 5 job, weekends off and no holidays. That just doesn't exist in this job. But yeah, it's a different era, absolutely a different.
But anyways,
Well,
there's-
on behalf of the county, the way I look at it, I mean, it's gonna make a difference on attitude.
Absolutely,
And,
absolutely.
if you yourself, Gary, don't have the right attitude, I mean, it's gonna affect your.
I'm retiring at the end of the year, and when I started this position 20 years ago, I didn't have any deputies. And I went about 4 months, okay, without deputies, running my ass off,
Yeah,
okay? And here I'm at the end of my career, and I'm back in that same situation.
so on behalf of the county, I'm gonna second that motion.
So, like that, of course. You wanna do a roll call vote, or do you just wanna do a general vote? Let's do a roll call vote. Gardner,
Nay.
Miller,
I need more time to think, I'm gonna say nay.
Vanderhorst,
Aye.
Mayor,
Yes.
yes. I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna say I want more time on this issue also. So I'm gonna say nay.
Okay,
Okay?
okay, we'll revisit in March,
Yeah, we'll bring it back to the meeting in March.
it's fair. Thank you, guys.
You bet. Thanks, Gary.
Thanks, Gary.
Ed, later this morning, you have on the agenda the social media policy. Is there someone speaking on that behalf or?
Just an email from Mary, his.
Okay, yeah, I'll be here for that too then. I wanna make a comment on that too, so.
Okay.
Okay,
Thanks,
thank you.
Gary. Item C, Russ Wilder, Road Superintendent, County Road Department.
Morning,
Morning,
guys.
Russ.
John Martin's here, we're a little behind schedule, can I
Yeah,
just
yeah,
bring him
yeah.
up and have him talk right away?
Yeah, but John likes being here, it's no big deal, I'm sure he doesn't have any other plans or nothing. Hey, John.
Hey, morning. So all I wanted to really talk about today was, your grant situation, what you have pending and what you were awarded here recently. For flex funding, that just came out here, we've been working on this grade raise up by Braddock on 17th Avenue. The state awarded that to you for, construction. And our original application, we had 51% using federal aid on that. And then we'd have 49% for flex funds, and then 100% of engineering would be flex funds also. And actually, I could give you some sheets for what that's for now. It's kind of easier to look at this stuff and tell you. So the plans are basically done. I just submitted those to the DOT for this project, to get the process with them really going. So hopefully we're hoping to bid it this year yet, to get it constructed this year. I guess that's the plan unless you guys think otherwise. As a part of the project, there is some wetland mitigation, and we're working on that. I just talked to him again yesterday, and that's another 6 to 9 months to complete with the US Fish and Wildlife. And this could be something the county might have to pay for down the road. We're estimating around $10,000. And that basically entails just, they're gonna build a wetland somewhere else to mitigate for what we're gonna be filling in on this project. So just something to be aware of. Possibly we could submit it for flex funding reimbursement too. You just never know.
You don't know any of this.
But not on that, no.
Yeah.
What will the width of this be?
The top, it's gonna be a 28-foot gravel top with a 32-foot subgrade.
Okay. What is it now?
Is it wider than that?
About 4 feet wide, isn't it?
Maybe 20 feet?
Been built up twice, I think, so yeah, it's pretty skinny on top, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, there's hardly any, not a lot of riprap out there, so there's probably some maintenance issues with rust right now. So obviously this new project would add riprap along all the slopes too, to protect it, and we would build it up over 2 feet, or roughly 2 feet higher than the outlet elevation.
You have to put another culvert in.
Yeah, and then we put a brand new culvert in the city too. I don't know where the culvert is now, but
Is any of the engineering or the design gonna go to alleviate some of that water elevation, or is that something that's just outside the scope, it's just to build the road up?
it's just to build the road up.
So there's no process with trying to control the water to keep it from,
Coming up higher yet.
okay,
Yeah.
It's gonna spill out somewhere before.
It's gonna overflow, yeah, so this road's gonna be protected, so it'll
Right.
naturally outflow before going over this road.
Okay, so it's gotta
Yeah.
exit before.
but it's gonna raise more before it spills, cause otherwise it would be
Right.
spilling now, so that's what my question was even to protect the road that we're going to be investing in, is there gonna be any value to trying to, we're just gonna kinda let nature take its course with the spill then,
Is
and
that
building
gonna
it
run-
up
Do
that
we,
high?
Is that
do
gonna
we
run into
know how
problems
much
with
higher to
another
get before
landowner, or?
Several,
starts
probably.
exiting out?
I think it got really close here recently, maybe within a foot or something,
No, it's not.
naturally out, yeah.
So then it gets pretty soft too, right?
Oh,
Well, the
yeah.
road is gonna dam the water.
Oh, there's a culvert going through there.
There's a cul-
Yeah, but it probably isn't going to be able to keep up. I mean, we're.
No, I don't think, I mean, it's generally been equalizing culverts through that road, but I'm just talking about the water hole basically the road is going through a cereal bowl, not,
Right.
that's essentially the issue.
Yes.
And the cereal bowl is nearing the spill.
Right,
I mean, my point is that I don't think the building the road is gonna cause a detriment.
no,
It's just that,
it's nature.
right, but the trouble is like, as a part of the design of the road, was there something with water drainage to protect the road, so we aren't just always,
Where does it,
that's my point.
what point and where does it piss up?
Well, if I
To
remember
the
right,
west.
it kinda went to the southwest,
Southwest, yep.
but it has to go through a few pieces of property before it gets to a major drainage, actually. It kinda has to go through like soft spots, wetlands, low areas.
Yeah.
Then when they spill, so you're essentially inundating specific acres till you get to a point where it actually flows.
Flushes out.
And so that is, I mean, that's the reason why we've never tried to drain it too, is it's a little bit of a landowner mitigation nightmare.
And there's no way you can drain tile line?
Well, not legally, I mean, you're changing a watershed there.
Yep.
But you see guys spiking line, drain tile and all over.
Doesn't make sense.
Well, it sounds like though, Aaron, like what you're saying is it's kind of low area where it drains a little bit anyway, so it's maybe not gonna really wipe out a bunch of.
Well, there's a difference between draining water on the land and getting it so it drains away too, though. Like, my point is yes, it's gonna drain to another marshy, cattaily, wooded, vegetated area that's always kinda wet, but it's gonna get big before it goes again. So, if this land only has an acre of cruddy ground, now it might have 2 or 3 acres till it moves again. And so now, by draining it over here, and this is kind of like the Long Lake, Logan County issue, like, oh, we'll drain the lake to save Napoleon, well, then you wipe out 2 roads and 3, and inundate 50 acres of farm ground, well, these guys need to be compensated, that's why it's kind of the,
Touchy deal.
well, I mean, whiskey's for drinking, water's for fighting, right, that's kind of, I mean, so that's where this is such a big issue, is like, you can build the road and that alleviates us of our road issue. It's not gonna alleviate any of the flooding issues in that area, and alleviating the flooding issue, if it's not engineered and there's some kind of legal drain created or something, is a nightmare again. So that's why I was just curious if there was like a little bit of a drainage scenario, but it's basically just road construction, right?
Yep.
Okay.
So yeah, I guess the plan is we're just gonna keep proceeding unless you guys think otherwise there, using these funds kinda. And this estimate that I have, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be high. So I think it's gonna come with gas prices being down, it's gonna be cheaper, I'm pretty sure.
You're pretty sure of that?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, yeah.
So can we slip in that wetland mitigation as fuel price in there?
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah.
John, I have some questions.
Yes,
We don't have to advertise for engineering, do we, for construction engineering?
no, because it's,
State
covered
money?
in the flex funding, you don't. If it was federal, then yes, but
Okay, I just wanted to check that. And then where these being bid at, here or up there?
no, since it's got 50 or federal aid, it would go through the DOT,
Okay,
so.
But those funds aren't necessarily coming, those are our federal aid funds, right? They're not being awarded from the federal government, they were ours no matter what, we're using
Correct.
those for this project.
Yep,
So that's why you don't quite have the advertising requirement of like an actual federal project,
yes.
we're just using our federal dollars.
Okay.
And you are probably gonna have to borrow ahead roughly a year and a half ahead, at least.
But this is probably the biggest federal aid project we have, at least right now, there's no,
Yes,
I mean, if you would put it on a priority of where to use federal aid, this is probably it, right, Russ?
yes.
So borrowing ahead is probably not so scary, cause
And when I say borrow ahead, it's not really borrowing, you're not borrowing, you're just using your future federal aid dollars now
right.
To complete
to
this.
complete this project.
You don't have them available in the future until they get replenished, so that's where the idea of borrowing ahead is, they're already kinda telling you about what you're gonna get, and they allow you to use a certain portion even though you haven't gotten it yet. That's the borrowing ahead term, but the scary part is if you borrow ahead too much and then you do have another problem that you're thinking about, you can short yourself under federal aid funds, so.
Then you're up to.
But that's where, if this one is kind of the top priority, then generally you borrow ahead on your top priority, that's.
So, I guess that kinda covers that unless there's any other questions on the project. The next one is the special road fund. You were awarded the Cattail Bay Road cement stabilization project. This was last year. So we're thinking, we probably need to get it done, constructed this year to still use that grant of, roughly $300,000. So I have the costs kind of broken down there. And then just, this is the first 2 miles of that road. And Russ would have to, or the road department would have to bring in dirt if they want to build this up and skinny up the road prior to the cement stabilization.
We talked, excuse me, John, we talked about that culvert, that box culvert, and Mike and I talked about it.
Yeah.
So we were gonna wait to replace that culvert first, correct?
Yeah, so we applied for flex funding for that also, but that was denied.
Oh, it was denied.
Yep. We had 3 applications and, the grade raise was the only one that was awarded.
So then we can't build up, can't build the road up over that.
Not over the culvert, but you could on the
So
sides.
you gotta come in, go down, and over.
So what would be the cost to put another, I mean, if we do decide to do this project and we decide to replace that box culvert, what would be the cost? Roughly, I mean, just throw out 100, 200,
750 grand.
50,000,
Yeah, I mean, maybe 600,000
That's what Mike.
just for the box culvert.
just for the box culvert.
Whew.
That's pretty big.
Yeah.
Right, cause you're talking about when you build up and everything, the width of it, and I mean, you wouldn't be far off from the Woolbaum box, basically. I mean, the Woolbaum one's pretty big, but it's gonna be a big box culvert, not?
No, I think what is in it is pretty good.
Right, but you're still gonna need a long one, because
Oh,
we're
yeah.
talking about the way you're trying to build this road, though, like, if every time you go up, you go out, so that's where you're still running into it, like, I mean, obviously, it's not gonna be the same size, but when you start talking about like the square foot or the volume of it, it's gonna be skinnier, but it's gonna be longer too, so it's
What's
gonna
the
be a big
diameter of
box.
that culvert?
I think it's a double 10 by 4. So 10 wide, each cell is 10 by 10, and then they're 4 feet tall.
Pretty
Ideally,
wide already.
ideally, that box culvert isn't the greatest thing in the world, to be honest with you, but you talked about grading it so that it wouldn't be like this.
No,
I personally think this actual project would still be a huge benefit, leaving the box culvert in just the way it is. I mean, it still would be something we should seriously consider.
That culvert is settled, hasn't it?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I guess I don't know for sure.
The way it sets in that marsh?
You think it could be raised?
I don't know. Could that be pulled out and brought up?
That's gonna be very expensive.
I would liken that to the idea of when people call me and they say they wanna like reclaim their septic tank. And I mean, I'm not used to be a joke, but the cost of the project is not the septic tank, it's the labor and the dirt and like,
Yeah.
you're gonna go through and dig that box culvert up. Saving on the box culvert isn't gonna save you, there's still gonna be the amount of labor, massive, you're gonna have spoiled dirt that's no good if it's a marsh, you're gonna have to haul dirt in, like, your cost is gonna be in the work, not necessarily the.
I think if it's graded nicely, like you said, that, you know, you're starting a ways back, you don't have this huge dip in a road. I don't think anybody's gonna know the difference. I mean, you know, we talked a little bit that the media on top of that culvert's gonna be substantially less than what's gonna be on the rest of the road, but it is what it is. Like I said, I thought the whole idea, and I got on this whole thing late because this had already started the Cattail deal before I got elected, was just to make a substantial improvement to that road of some kind. And I think honestly, in my opinion, this is a substantial improvement to that road, regardless of the box culvert. I don't think that, to me, the box culvert's a showstopper, and we certainly aren't gonna pay 600,000 more to replace it. We have to just, we have a nice grant here, and I think if we really wanna make this happen, we have to just,
Wouldn't you argue, John, that you're doing 2 miles of cement stabilization, if you would do the box in, let's just say 5 years, cause the funding scenario
yeah,
appraises itself, you're redoing 500 feet worth of work, if that, I mean, you know what I mean, so you're still getting 1 mile and 3/4, 1 mile and 7/8 improved.
yeah.
And yeah, okay, so you spend $1 million on a box, if it's 600,000 out in 5 years, it's $1 million, but you get 950,000 of it covered through a funding mechanism. You have 250 feet of dirt on each side of the road that gets wasted or has to get redone.
Yeah.
that's still kind of a net positive, like,
Absolutely.
because if you can't afford 600,000 now, as dumb as this sounds, you might be able to afford $1 million in 5 years through a different funding mechanism or something, so.
Right.
I agree with Commissioner Gardner that not doing the box doesn't make it sound like, oh, it's just a Band-Aid, it's actually more, we're just gonna do as much as you can, you know, and that little part could be finished later. Does that, I mean, you agree with that opinion, that would
Yeah,
still be a
definitely.
worthwhile deal?
Yep.
Where would, Marlis, I know we talked about this months ago, but the 371, where did we talk about that funding coming from? Prairie Dog? I just think, you know, you look at, and I think all of us commissioners have talked about this before, the amount of building permits that come out of the Catch Hill Bay area, the amount of taxes on those homes that are being built and the improvements that are being made out there, it is the only recreational area that has no pavement going to it, although it's 7 miles, it's kind of out in the middle of nowhere compared to, you know, Beaver Bay and Langler's is, you know, a half, 3/4 of a mile to get to the ramp. I think this is a huge improvement, and I think, in my opinion, we've got a nice grant. It's a lot of money still, but I think we need to move forward on it.
We've
We've got
got,
travel.
in the Prairie Dog Fund, we've got the money to cover the 371, right?
We do.
Okay.
Cause that's what we talked about, we thought would be an approved project, right, so Prairie Dog.
Correct, yep.
And you know, this project's already been awarded, I already signed and everything.
Yeah, I think it's a go,
It's
pretty
a-
well, right? I
It's
think
ready
that's,
to make it.
Yep.
What are your feelings of it? I mean, Russ, you're gonna be doing it, you guys.
Yeah, I agree too, and like I said, it was already in progress.
Yeah.
We just waited for
We
that
just
box
closed the
culvert
break.
deal,
Yeah.
and it got denied.
Denied.
yeah.
You think you can handle the scope of work though, like with your crew and the equipment you have and stuff, or?
I hope so, I mean, we can on a normal year, I mean, that, I
But
can,
I'm just saying, if you get conditions that are at least reasonable to do the work, you can do, it's not over your guys' head, you can do the work,
no,
but.
we can do that,
Okay.
you know, weather permitting, that we don't go into a
Yeah.
6-month
Right,
rain event here, but yeah, we can definitely do that. I would like to see some drainage done.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask you on that.
You talked about the culvert settling, I don't know, and maybe it did push down over the years, maybe, I don't know, but there definitely needs to be some drainage to get the water, there's a lot of water on the sides of
Yeah,
that place, and it coming
Just
down
sits there.
from, Vandervorst
Yeah.
to the north,
Yep.
that needs to drain out, and it doesn't drain,
Well,
just
weren't they gonna contact
the water
the
board.
water board?
I did
Did they
contact,
ever stumble across it and look at it?
I did that, I contacted the water board, they gave us the authority to go ahead and do it. You know, to do what we need to do, it was basically working with, the Seaview Farm there.
Yeah.
A little bit, and from what I talked to Jody Ketterling and stuff, he really didn't see a problem with it. It was just, we ran out of, daylight last fall there, is kinda where it got left out.
So the water board would compensate the county to do the work.
No, they're
No,
not gonna
they just gave us
compensate
the
us, they
approval
just
to do
gave
it.
us the approval to
Yeah.
do it.
There's no money from them at all.
I didn't ask for money, I really don't think they're gonna pay us to do it, but I can sure ask.
Okay, okay.
I think,
Go ahead,
so,
Oh.
that's all
I just have one other question. When we talked about these guys doing the work, there was 2 scenarios, a clay scenario and a building up the road scenario, and there was talk that we were gonna see if we could get clay, if it would be cheaper, it would be a better base. Has anything been done with that?
No, we kinda left it, when we applied for the different funding and stuff, we kinda left it at that because I didn't know what was gonna come about it and how much it would change things, so I just kinda left it alone. So I have not contacted anyone as far as getting clay.
So do we have a figure as far as the yards that it takes to build it? Do we?
He
Okay.
gave that to me last year, if we're gonna go with the same thing, I do have
Okay,
that, yes.
okay.
Well, and I'm just curious if we should maybe look into that deeper. I think Mike was the one that brought that whole idea up
Yeah.
about maybe we'd be better off, it would be a better base, possibly more stable, or would maybe last a little bit longer. Or if we just decide option 2 is the way to go and we're just gonna roll with this, or, what are your thoughts? I mean,
In my opinion, from what I know, anytime you take stuff that, or material like you have there, the higher you can go with it, the better off you are. That's just what I've learned. So, I mean, I'm not against either way, I just, anytime the more you can get out of your mucky soil and stuff, the better it seems to work, you know,
I
but
just think if
The
we're gonna
better,
spend.
the more you're on it.
I just
Right.
think if we're gonna spend the money and we're trying to do an improvement to make it the best that we can possibly make it, if we can do that without minimally, like adding a month to you guys having to do this, it
Yeah.
might be worth checking into before we start the project.
bringing in clay and stuff is gonna add quite a bit of workload on our side
Okay.
as far as the county.
And maybe that's not the way to go then. if
Would we have the capability as a county to bring in all this clay?
Well, do we have the machinery and
Yeah.
stuff? Yeah, we could.
Do it? Okay.
I mean, there's ways to do it faster, of course, but we do have trucks and trailers and,
Okay.
you know, but it's gonna
Cut it
entail
with gravel.
everyone that we have going out there.
Yeah,
So that's, I'm gonna leave that to you guys.
Yeah, I don't
If you
know
wanna
if that's
pull
the
everyone
best way to go then.
to go out there, that's what we'll do.
that's.
So when you're saying pull up the muck to build the road, you think that's better than hauling clay in on this wide road and build it up from the point that it is?
No, I said,
And leave the muck.
hauling clay was the better option.
Better, okay,
Yeah.
okay, that's what I'm thinking.
But also an option that takes all of our guys out of the rest of the county.
Right, yeah.
Which is not necessarily probably going to be the popular.
No, it won't be the
Could
popular,
be.
necessarily, it won't be the popular.
It'll be popular out there, but it won't be popular.
There's
in the
gonna be
West.
2 miles of road everybody's gonna be real happy with, and about
Exactly.
1,200, they're not.
Yeah.
Let me ask this for an option, would it be an option to bring in like Shabinsky with a fleet of trucks to haul this material in fast? Or no,
Yeah, there's always that option.
Yeah.
but-
or too cost prohibitive?
Well, I don't know what that does to your cost. And then again, from what I've learned, sometimes quick isn't always the best option.
Cause you don't get it back.
Right, there's a lot of stuff that goes with it, and I'm not a big fan of piling in dirt 4 feet thick and not getting the right compaction and stuff to it. But that's just my opinion.
No, yeah, no, you're right
I
there.
hear you.
I will do whatever you guys think you wanna do there on that
So
side.
John, is the engineer's estimate and the kind of the design that you submitted for SRF, was that for a 4-foot clay build, or was that just for?
That's only cement stabilization and graveling. The county would have to do all of the dirt work.
So we can build it up 6 inches, we can build it up 6 feet, it's up
Exactly,
to
yeah.
us how much
Whatever
time.
Russ thinks he wants,
Okay.
you could stop there and we could just cement stabilize that.
Well, cause I'm just wondering if there isn't like a meet in the middle on that, even like, you know, 4 feet might be a lot, like, can we just do 18 inches or a foot maybe, like?
And I believe, John, it was not 4 feet, I was being exaggerating. there.
Okay, well, I was getting a little scared, so I'm like, oh,
I think John had it figured for,
One foot,
yeah,
okay,
and that's probably the most, that's so you have nice 4-to-1 in slopes.
Yep.
You
and
know,
then probably starting with a better base material then, right?
Yes.
The idea is to fix the road, right,
Yeah.
like,
Mhm.
a
Put a
better
base.
base, cement stabilization, gravel, that's the best that road's probably ever gonna be, because if you narrow it to the size you're talking about, pavement's out of the question now, right? Or very, very difficult, because you'd almost have to like widen it out again to pave it, or is
Yeah, I
it,
mean, if we do 32 feet, we could still potentially get pavement on there.
right?
Well,
I mean, cause that's where I'm just debating like
that's
this,
probably a smart.
That'd be probably the smart thing to do, wouldn't it? 32 foot, build it up a foot.
does the cement
well,
stabilization
you're
and the
smirking
base
over there, I
increase,
don't
does
know.
that help with paving in the
Well,
future though?
I'm not the
38 is
engineer.
pretty wide,
it's, you know, you're adding another 4 feet, and you go 2 miles, that's a lot of
A lot of
dirt.
a lot of loads.
Yeah,
It's a lot of, I mean, not that it can't be done,
but
it's
a
just
lot of material.
more time, everyone's gonna be at Cattail Bay, so.
I mean, I only bring up pavement because it's always been a circle to conversation on that road. I don't think it's ever gonna get paved. If it was ever feasible to get paved, it would've got done by now. Everybody's in the same boat, it's always too expensive, it's too big a project. So I don't think doing what we're doing and adding a bunch of costs, cause it might get paved, that's probably the reason we're here now, right? That's why it's a wide road and it's because they wanted to pave it before.
Yeah.
I think if you just accept the fact that it's probably never gonna get paved, then you just do the best to make it a tight, maintainable road as hard as it can be, and it's just a good solid gravel road, that's probably the best it's ever gonna be, so.
Well, you take it from the mailbox south, that's a good road they held in that clay. Totally different than that 2 mile stretch going east from the mailboxes,
Right.
totally different.
Well, and that's where, I guess what I'm getting at is I think the clay hauling is good, I think creating that base is gonna help fix part of that problem, that's why we're doing this.
Yeah,
And I think cement stabilization's a waste if you're not gonna try and bring some better material underneath it.
yeah.
But the conversation around like, oh, maybe we should, I think you build it like it's never gonna get paved. If it's ever gonna get paved, it's gonna be a funding mechanism that's so large, it'll probably pay for the prep to make it the 4 feet wider, so, cause I just don't want the conversation to be like, oh, maybe we should stop, cause it'll never get paved this width, well, I don't think that's ever gonna be, and if it is, it's probably not gonna be an Andy Lar scenario, so let's do the best we can to improve the road with what we got.
I'd say too.
I would say
Fix it for the day.
around a foot of good clay, shape it up the best you can, leave the box culvert where it's at, cement stabilize it and gravel it, that's as good as we can probably do as a county.
And maybe we'll get money next year to do that box culvert. Maybe it'll be allocated.
So how
You
do
don't know.
we get the clay there though? I mean, do we wanna use our own guys? Do we want
Well,
Russ
I think
to
that
look
could
into
be
maybe
part of the
finding a
conversation.
couple guys? Boy, I hate to pull everybody off the roads.
Oh,
Yeah,
That's the only thing that scares me.
the weeds will
I'm
get
wondering-
ahead of
I'm
everything.
wondering.
Well, if you do have a quantity, then you at least have some kind of biddable number, right? So if you have a quantity and you find a borrow area, you could at least explore some prices.
I
Because-
could, you know,
Yeah.
And the only reason I say that is because it would be a good comparison, because what's it worth to pull 6 guys off on a project? Like, you start thinking you're saving money doing that, and then your entire road system is to the detriment, that's not good either, so
no,
if you can get somebody to come in and haul a bunch of dirt in a fraction of the time, I mean, not saying
That you
it's
can
fast,
manage it,
but,
yeah.
right, but I'm just saying, if it takes all summer for us to do it with 2 or 3 trucks, and we can do it in 3 weeks with a contractor, you really do gotta start weighing the costs.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where, what is $100,000 when you're talking about basically not maintaining parts of the county the rest of the summer?
yeah.
That's not worth it, so I think with the bid quantity and you have a scope of work, and if you can find a borrow area so you know what distance to haul it, I think that's biddable, where you could probably get some prices.
okay.
I think.
We don't wanna go backwards from what we've been working on to get these roads.
Yeah,
You know, to
Yeah.
keep the tone down in the public, from the public,
right.
that they're happy. I mean,
Yeah,
they're not 100% satisfied, but it's a gravel road.
Any
infrastructure.
improvement we make out there is going to be greatly
Yes,
appreciated,
it's, you
absolutely.
bet.
Well, you don't wanna step over 200 miles of road to save 2, that's where we don't wanna lose scope of that, like, we're so excited to do the cattail road that we're just gonna like abandon,
Yeah.
2 whole routes for the summer, that just can't.
I think we have to.
Yeah,
I think
okay to
you
that,
should
yeah.
explore some prices for hauling clay at least,
Okay.
at least explore it, get some feelers, whatever. We can do some
You gotta
comparisons.
find
a little
some
bit.
too then, Russ, huh?
yeah, there's a couple of places
Pretty
supposedly fairly close that I'll
Oh,
get a
good.
hold of them now that I know what we're doing.
Yeah.
Do we have, as far as a time frame? There, that's the first thing these contractors are gonna wanna know.
Well, I
What-
think
what
as
do
soon as we can get cracking on it, we get cracking on it. I mean, I,
You're gonna have,
You got
speed
certain
out there.
times
You
of the
gotta
year
watch
that it works, I mean,
Yeah.
And you wanna be pulling your shoulders up right away in the spring with these new.
Well, I almost
That's
feel
what-
like this is a middle of summer project, huh?
Well, like they said, when they're hauling potatoes full force and farming, that's not the best time to be there
No.
either, cause you're fighting each other, you know?
There's just as much ag work down there that's non-potato as potato.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one thing, we always focus on the potatoes, there's a lot of irrigated ground that gets rotated out, that's
Yeah.
there is.
corn and beans and stuff, like, yeah.
There's
you're-
never really gonna be a great time.
Well, no, but I would say you would wanna argue your mid to end June to
Yeah,
end of
right.
August is your window down there where you're gonna cause the least amount of issues,
Yeah.
cause other than that, oof, yeah,
I hope you don't get that one bad wash rate,
well,
yeah, well,
cause you just don't know, that's just nature,
Yeah,
you're dealing with it.
okay. Shop road?
which still falls under. a
Well, I'm
six
just wondering if you want us to proceed with plans and everything, we should probably do a contract, if you want this project to keep going.
Yeah,
Okay, so
did you bring it with you?
Brought it with me, yeah, just in case.
Weird, huh?
Uh,
Yeah, Don, just hit it with the auto pen.
Yeah, auto print, yeah.
it's basically just 10% of the construction price.
Oh. Me and Jim looked at it real close, you should explain it to us.
yeah, right. I opened it up, I don't see a,
10% of the total,
Yeah,
I don't see a total.
and
and
that's,
then the remainder do what, upon the completion? Or before the project starts?
yeah, so we do 4% after we bid it, and then the remaining 6% after, or as the project's going.
Good, good.
No, here, we'll figure it out.
Well, we probably don't have to approve it right at this moment, I guess, when we put it till later in the meeting, you wanna keep
Yeah.
going or something.
Is that
that's
okay
fine.
with you?
Yeah.
That's fine.
Okay, so we can all look
Dragging
at it.
us out.
Yeah, I've already signed it, so once you guys sign it, just send me a copy, Marlis, so.
Okay,
And then just final, we have an SRF application pending for the Linton Shop Road and the Golf Course Road. So hopefully within the next month or two, they'll kinda let us know if that's approved. The total price was $912,000. And this new SRF application, it's up to $500,000 and it's an 80-20 split now. Versus that Cattail Bay one was a 60-40 split and only 300,000. They changed it here last year,
Oh, okay.
so.
Are these SRF funds, are these the ones that always come like, okay, we didn't use it all up, and is that, like, what, we got some of these last fall, what funding was that, where it was,
Prairie dog.
that was,
there you go.
oh, okay, alright.
SRF, you have to have, it's gotta be a road leading to like, recreation or something?
Exactly, yep.
But you can't shuffle these funds? You can't.
No, it's gotta be
It
used,
doesn't work?
No.
Okay.
it's gotta be used for that project that you
Okay.
submitted for.
So now with the mile west of Strasburg, get that, I mean, down the road.
The recreation. or-
We put that, we put
Well,
that
it's
in the
headed
flex
west.
fund.
That was up for
You know what, I
It's
drove
heading
that
towards the
road, I
door,
went
huh?
down out that direction.
Just
That
that
mile
there's
of
another
blacktop is better than
17
Highway
miles
eighty-three
of
between
gravel.
Linton and Hazelton, to be honest with you, it's not great, but it's, in my opinion, it's better than 83 between Linton and Hazelton. It's not horrible.
It's not horrible, it's getting bad.
Yeah, it
It's
is,
starting to get some dips where it's starting to hold water.
it is, but
It'll raise hell with the base eventually, I'm sure.
after driving it 4 times, you know, in a week, it's not really that bad. I'd rather drive that 1 mile than the 15 to Hazelton, because the 83 is horrible shape.
Well, 83's getting replaced this year, isn't it?
No, it's not, it's getting replaced, it's getting milled and overlaid from the Highway 13 junction to the South Dakota border.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
This isn't scheduled till 29,
Okay,
which
that's
is
3 years off, that's fine.
yeah, if it happened.
Maybe 20 years since.
I was told by a state employee, the state's broke.
I've been told that too. You may be helpful.
That's what the.
It's
no, that's-
about to be broke,
that's
if
just
oil
what the-
keeps doing
That's just what the
it.
state, that's just what the state is telling me.
Yeah, that's just what they tell you to say,
They got
stop
a little
asking,
money.
yeah,
Good cry.
20 billion.
yeah.
What else do you have, John?
That's all I have. Unless you guys have anything for me.
Thank you, sorry, had to sit here.
Oh, no problem.
Thanks a lot, I don't have anything. Russ, do you have anything? Nothing?
Nope. And I
All
will
good?
give you a call and stuff.
Okay, thanks, John.
Thanks, John.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Okay, the next item is D, bids for that 2013 Ford Explorer.
Still see if we wanna let Russ actually do his,
Oh, you want, oh, excuse me, I'm sorry, Russ, go ahead.
I don't know what-
I forgot about that you were even there.
I know that.
Yeah.
I really don't have a whole lot this month, it's been pretty slow, which is a good thing. The Strasburg shop is coming along really nice, they moved stuff back in, they're just kinda critiquing it to the way they like it and stuff, but that turned out really good. We're putting the lights in the Linton shop as we speak, they got another couple days and they'll be done with that, that helped out a lot.
really light her up, huh?
Yeah, we can actually see each other now, so it made a
Well,
big
that was
difference
really
now.
nice.
there might be some loss in employees after you guys are out there mowing.
If you get a chance, stop at the Strasburg shop and look at it. Have you been in there?
I haven't, but I was gonna compliment you guys on the Hazelton shop too, because it's like, I mean, it's bright, it's clean, it's organized. You know, that building is half cold storage and
Yeah,
half,
yeah.
warm.
Yeah.
I poked my head into the cold side. It's a nice overhead door, everything's easy to access, there's, everything is
Neat.
clean and organized, the crew itself, everybody it seems like every shop I go into is always in nice shape. I mean, you guys do a good job
Good.
keeping everything organized and it's safe, it's not like dirty and there's crap laying everywhere, and I mean,
They are in Hazelton, they got trailers up there right now, they're working on the belly dumps, brakes, tires, stuff like that, so
Okay.
we are utilizing the Hazelton, Lytton and Strasburg shops as far as the maintenance side of it.
I mean, when I became commissioner, we used to deadhead that blade from Hazelton to Lytton every night this time of year, because you can't leave them outside for long, especially in the sleet. You get a 30-degree day and it's full of slush and you leave it outside overnight, we were driving it back and forth
Every day.
every day. You couldn't park it outside if you wanted to use it the next day. And them ugly weather storms when they're blasting snow, and now we got 2 blades parked inside there, warm, dry, like, I mean,
Strasburg, we could get 3 in, right?
What's that?
You could get 3 in that Strasburg?
Yes,
alright, but I mean,
Wait till
just,
you could get your whole fleet in.
we can get 6 in there for sure, we could, if we had to, we could get, but 6 is probably the,
That's really
But,
awesome.
I mean, the shops-
Makes Such a difference.
shops look good, they're clean, the stuff's inside, maintained, I mean, everything looks good.
Good job.
Reflects,
Appreciate it, Russ.
that reflects on you, Russ, so good
Yeah.
job, yeah.
and other than that, like I said, it's kinda, we're just doing general maintenance on things is basically what we're doing, so. A little bit of snow removal here and there when it does blow and stuff, but it's been pretty good, we're saving a little money for the fuel side of it.
Ready to roll?
We did, we brought them in last week and plumbed them in and stuff like that, we did put them together, they're basically waiting for some spring thaw to make it all work, so,
Did you get your excavator, that quick touch in place?
yes,
Okay.
that's on. I have to wire the switch in yet, which isn't a big deal, we're just trying to make it look as nice as we can, but the attachment is on,
Okay.
everything's good to go on that side.
You gonna put the picks on here sometime?
We do have them on 4 blades, right? 4 blades?
Well, you used them on the Westfield Road and going west of the mile, didn't you?
We went out to from the mile west, we did that road. A few other, like the intersections and stuff where they're getting washboardy.
Yeah.
They were gonna go out actually today, but, snowed again and, it was supposed to be 50.
You'll probably work later in the week.
Yeah, so we're trying to just keep a handle on the washboards the best we can.
Did you get a notice on this John Deere lease program?
Yes.
What are your feelings on that?
You know, that's the yearly thing that we get through
Yeah.
John Deere,
NIH or just Deere?
just John Deere.
John Deere.
This one was just for John Deere.
Okay.
My feelings, you know, it comes out to, if you go with the 250-hour agreement, I believe it comes out to $5,600 a year or something for the smaller tractor, somewhere in the area,
Yeah.
give or take for the bigger one. I don't know what your guys' thoughts are, but my thoughts is I would really like to buy a tractor. There's times when the county itself just needs a tractor. I mean, it's kind of part of the equation. And when we need that tractor, we don't have a tractor. We have to give it back because the lease is up. And then we have to go a few months without it, give or take. So I would really like to just put that money, instead of leasing a tractor every year, could we possibly think about buying a tractor and just using that money to buy a tractor?
And there's payments?
Versus,
Yeah.
we're spending it anyway, one way or the other. I don't know
Yeah,
what
I
your
would
thoughts
think
are.
that'd be a smart, if you buy a pretty good one, too.
And it doesn't have to be a new tractor, we don't need a brand new tractor. Aaron made a comment, I totally agree, I mean, a nice, clean, older tractor would work just fine for us, that's what we would need, you know?
Yeah.
That's like an old 4440s, that good tractor, you know, it's so close, they're out there. but-
Yeah.
78 model. he
Well,
said.
it's not a bad idea, cause it's like anything, you lease it in the beginning and then it's like, once you see the need, or if you can make improvements, cause you have that machine around and you can get other attachments and things where you can utilize it more and more, it becomes going from leasing is great until you have a need, and then once you have the need, then you can make the step to purchase if you think it's justified. I think being able to mow, sometimes we haven't been able to mow on time, cause we haven't gotten the right tractor situated. If you
Yep.
think about that, yeah, I mean, we're not talking about buying a $200,000 tractor, we're probably buying 60 grand or less,
60,
hopefully,
70,
area.
right.
I mean, being realistic, to get a good tractor, you're gonna spend money, even a good 4440 is probably 25 grand, so. But I mean, yeah, in that 25 to 50, $60,000 range, I think if you found something decent, I don't think I'd have a problem with that, cause you can control it.
Well, I could have done it, I'd have sold, I had a 4450 mechanical front with 8,000, but I just couldn't come to do it.
Yeah.
Because of probably the back from the general public that I'm selling a tractor to the county, I wouldn't even think of doing it, you know?
But I mean, I think there's value in having a machine like that around, I think, and
I think
especially
it's
too,
plus.
because the other argument too is like, if you have a 3-point snow blower for it, there's another use that you could have for intersections and things like, yeah, you know, I mean, you could
We
create.
do have a snow blower, it's never been used to my knowledge, a brand new 3.1. We have some other 3-point attachments as well, and then the mowing is probably the biggest,
Yeah.
as well as dirt work throughout the summer. It would be nice to have for compaction, for, you know,
Throw it,
right,
throw
it's
an
just,
arrow out for even around the yard.
Yeah.
a tractor's just,
Yeah, you want a loader'd be nice on it too, huh? Or maybe you don't need the loader, huh?
you know, we got skid
Loader.
steer, we got a couple payloaders and stuff, we could definitely get by without it. If it had one, it would not make or break the sale, I mean, we can take it off if we don't need it, you know.
Yeah,
But maybe you don't, that.
What size was that last year, 130?
Yeah, that was like a 130 horse tractor, and that actually worked pretty well from what the guy said.
it wasn't underpowered with that mower, though.
No.
No, that mower they require 80 horse, I think, or 85 to run that.
Yeah.
It's
So,
more the tractor weight to hold it.
exactly, yep. So anyway, on the tractor lease thing, I guess if, you know, I know we have some money in the budget and stuff like that, but we run short pretty fast as far as equipment purchases and things like that, but
Yeah.
I would, in my opinion, I would like to just, if, instead of leasing it every year, I would like to maybe
Borrowing and, yeah.
make a payment on it or whatever we have to do there on that side, I think would make more sense from what I see, I guess.
Okay,
But that's all I got, I guess.
okay, thanks, Russ, appreciate it
See
again.
you, Russ.
I do have one other, that Cavendish Farms building, are you guys gonna talk about that later?
Yeah, it's on the agenda.
Okay.
It's 4 warehouses, correct? Right. Okay, next item is bids for the 2013 Ford Explorer, item B. None, open it. 2 bids.
Just kidding.
First bid is $2,000.
How much?
2,000.
Yeah,
Say 2,000.
And that's what I read, yeah.
Okay.
oh, okay, yeah.
Next bid, $2,010.
Jeez.
You must have been talking too much.
I can't even, I don't even know whose number that is.
Is there a name?
What is it? Price is Right move there, what the world?
That makes it tough.
Huh?
Oh.
Oh,
Kenny Schleuscher. There's no warranties with this, he knows.
What did you say?
There's no warranties.
What the
No,
world?
I put on the advertisement that it's as is.
Yeah,
Advertised as is, right?
Yeah, that's what I did.
That's the way to do it, yeah.
Because I would make
So-
the motion to accept the high bid of $2,010.
That's what we have to do, correct?
yeah, that's,
We've got 2 bids, one
Better
for
no
2000,
sale, I
one for
guess.
2010.
Either no sale it or accept the high bid, I guess, so.
Maybe makes a motion to accept the high bid of 2000.
Well, I put on there, property will be sold to the highest bidder for cash. and
Yeah.
sales.
It's the way it's gotta be.
I'll second it.
Second by Miller,
Who first did it?
I did.
Mayor did.
Okay, sorry.
Seconded by Miller
First did it, yeah.
for the high bid of 2010. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Vehicle sold. Item E, public comment or comment on opportunity pursuance to SB 2180. That's to give them, what, 10 minutes of talk time?
Yep. You have anything?
I'm going, oh, yeah.
I don't think.
We
there's
can
time
keep
for
going.
that.
Just keep going.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, wait, I gotta.
Unless there's somebody in here right now.
You have anything wrong?
Agenda. So then you have that,
Do you wanna stand up and talk? Okay,
Just
silent observer?
trying to be a good listener.
There you go.
Okay, item G is Emmons County social media policy.
Okay, you guys all got that email from Mary Sanger?
Yeah.
And I think what this is about, Gary, you wanna speak on it too, is every time we put something on Facebook, like the agenda, or, you know, I put things on there like with the primary residence credit and anything, and then people are just making negative comments all the time.
So we should stay off it.
Well, we wanna, in order for us to remove those comments, I think we need a policy in place, I think, right?
Well, one of the issues I've had here recently, and it's been ongoing, is you have individuals that are commenting on our social media page. And it's not always real pleasant. It is what, I'm open to criticism, that don't bother me. But anytime there's a new posting, these keyboard warriors, a lot of them from out of state, get on there and start commenting on things that are not even related to what was just recently posted. And whether that's with the sheriff's office, the road department, county commission, or anything else concerning the government, it's like, we don't have to allow these people to use our Facebook or our social media to make their comments, okay? The purpose of our social media is to inform the public. You know, we put information out there, here's what's going on, here's what you need to know, and so forth. I would, and I talked to Mary Singer about this too, who kind of come up with this whole thing, or was kind of leading this whole thing, is we can turn off those comments. Okay? I don't have the time, neither does anybody else, to sit and police our social media for these vulgar, inappropriate comments. They're profanity laced sometimes, not all of them, but we can either block them or we can, you know, hide them. But then as a public entity, we also have to log and document all that, everything else. I think the preference would be just to turn off the ability to make comments. Obviously, if I'm looking for information from someone and we put out some information, call my office, okay? Call the auditor's office, whoever, whatever the case, call the road department. But to allow them to simply go on a rant on our media,
Yeah, it's gonna get worse and worse.
Yeah,
and worse.
absolutely.
It's just the nature of the beast.
And
you know,
Yeah, I agree.
Can the
Can we
post
do
be
it?
shareable without comments being engaged? Cause that's the only thing, yeah, cause I'll even say that I've used the Facebook posts of like the agenda
right.
and shared it like to my,
Yeah.
just to try and get the word out that, hey,
Yeah, you can
coming up,
share,
public-
if
and
you
that's what-
post something, you can share it.
cause I have no problem with disabling the comments, because if you post it in the paper, you can't comment to the newspaper, you
Right.
can't, like, you're not trying to silence people, you can take that post, you can share it and make all the comments you want in your own world,
Yeah,
but the
anything that we post can be
Right.
shared, they can be shared and whatever, that can
even if
still
you
be done.
disable the comments though, that's the question, like.
My
those
understanding is,
comments that you make within the network of the social media, that's shared with everybody else.
well, everybody can go on
But you
and,
can't, pardon?
everybody can read
Yeah,
that
right.
and so forth, and then they comment back and forth, and you get into these
Yeah.
debates and these
Yeah,
comments and
right.
conversations back and forth.
Oh, that's
Um,
crazy.
You know, I've had to go in there and delete some stuff, or hide stuff, because again, some of it's profanity laced or whatever it is, it's like, or it's completely off topic of what's
Yeah.
our thing, and it's like,
So it sounds
Ridiculous.
like you can disable comments on Facebook and still share the post, but
Yes.
how you do it depends on the type of post.
Well, and that would be my only thing, because I know, and like, I want people to be able to share the information, but I actually think it creates a huge liability having random people post maybe even nonsense related to the Emmons County Facebook page, which is solely created to reach a group of people that doesn't necessarily get the newspaper, or, I mean, that's, what you wanna put a meeting agendas out there, you wanna
probably
put.
the most recent example I show you where it was really out of hand is just last week, I got a call from the McKinsey County Sheriff asking if I had saw the social media post in Kidder County. And somebody had posted something on their social media post, and they couldn't get it off. It was a video, it was profanity laced, and it's like, whoa. Now, they were able to go through the AG's office and get it taken off the next day. And I think they're looking at doing something with the person that posted that. But again, their social media was used for something that really
Shouldn't have been.
Yeah, that's not.
So, yeah, so
AI's only gonna make it worse.
Alright, so in any case, you know, the suggestion is maybe just turn off the comments. Again, we use it to inform the public, obviously, and if they can share that information, they can still share that information.
Yeah.
If they have information that they wanna bring back here, call the office, call my office, call the auditor's office, call the state's attorney's office. They can take and go on their rants on their social media, not necessarily ours.
Well, the
So what
trouble,
do we need, a motion from the board in a second and a vote?
I would say to adopt this.
Well, and this does not indicate to turn off the comments.
Right, but I'm just saying,
I just don't feel it's necessary, here's my deal, cause the Emmons County page is a public page, right? You don't have to necessarily follow it to see the things on there versus like some other social media
Right.
stuff, you can stumble upon
Yep.
a post. And that's meant to be transparent, the comments associated with it are not, they don't need it, it doesn't need, and all it is usually gonna be an avenue for someone to cause problems, because if I'm gonna try and contact somebody with information, I'm going to send it in another form, email it, send it in a picture, send it in like Messenger, any of these other forms. I'm not gonna go on there and like tag everybody in the comments about looking at this, like, I think that's only gonna create a problem, if we don't have someone that's gonna babysit that, then it creates a huge liability for us on what we're allowing on our page, so I think we should disable it.
I agree.
Make it for informational purposes only, just like a website or a newspaper or anything, I don't think anything's wrong with
Unless you
that.
have a staff member that can get in there in the morning, mid-afternoon, and start watching.
Yeah,
kind of stuff.
if you're not watching every 10 minutes during a hot conversation, you're gonna miss something, it's,
Yeah.
and I agree with you, I think some of the posts on there are just, they're just unnecessary, I don't have a problem with criticism either, but just criticize me, don't be going on like a public area that doesn't even have a dog in the fight essentially,
Right.
but that's where they do it, because it's kind of unpoliced and it's kind of
it's
like.
a public protest and they don't have to go out in the street.
But
They
it's
don't have to
not
go out.
right. It's
Yeah,
not right.
It doesn't prohibit them from their own media.
No,
to
you're
do
not
what they want.
restricting
They can do
anybody's
what they
First
want.
Amendment by
Yeah.
blocking the comments on something that shouldn't even really exist.
But anyway, that's the purpose I wanted to bring that up,
Yeah.
is to consider, turning the comments off anyway, so.
I'm all for it.
I would make the motion that we turn the comments off on the Emmons County Facebook, or Emmons County social media, any social media page, we have no
And
comments.
adopt this.
Okay,
Well, do you have to adopt that if you're turning the comments off, or is that still? a
Well, it's
policy?
still a social media policy though. that
Okay.
they're saying you're-
Well, I would just make the motion, we turn the comments off to social media first of all, just a
Okay.
separate motion.
I'll second that,
It's for
Second by Gardner.
informational purposes only.
absolutely.
all in favor?
Uh,
Opposed? Motion carried, Sanders.
is this social media policy any different from what's already in the handbook for things? Cause we do have policies in it.
This is different, this is, what Burley County shared.
Okay.
Is using for their.
So this would be an update to what currently there.
Okay, so that's it, cause we
This is
do,
a plus one.
cause we do have some policies in the handbook for tech and all that too, so this is different.
Okay, all
Yeah,
good.
I read it, yep.
Thanks, Gary. That's what it is. Okay,
So I'll make a motion to adopt the updated Emmons County social media policy that Burley County shared with us and uses currently.
you're making a motion there,
Yeah.
or you're second, didn't you make the motion?
No, that was for a separate,
Okay.
Yeah, this is just for the policy
Okay.
to,
Is there a second?
Oh, so.
Vandermeer. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next item H is weed board, secretary position discussion.
So the reason, Kayla, Anderson, who's the weed board secretary, called me yesterday and she's gonna be resigning, probably this late summer, early fall. And they're wondering if they should keep it, try to keep it in the courthouse or take it outside or whatever, if it matters to you guys.
Who's the secretary?
It's Kayla Henderson, she's
Yeah,
the
she
deputy
used to
treasurer.
be.
Oh, okay.
And then when she left, she just took it with her, and, now she's gonna be resigning this fall, and they wanna know how you guys want it, I guess, so. I don't know of anybody in the courthouse that would wanna do it.
well, I don't think I have a problem with the board just seeking applicants and hiring their own person.
Tony, why?
We appoint the board members and they appoint their people
Yeah,
that
I
they need
think
to run their
so, too.
board, I don't have a
It makes
problem.
no
Okay,
difference to you guys then.
I,
Yeah, whoever.
that
they-
doesn't violate any policy or century
Okay.
code by doing it, does it?
I don't think so, but
I mean, I
they
think,
just wanted to ask you guys to make sure.
yeah, I would say,
Go ahead, Russ, you wanna say something, Russ?
Is that a full-time position, Marlis? No?
What do they get, just what they put in or what? And they get paid what?
Yeah, she gets paid, I don't know what she gets paid,
There are no benefits attached.
there's no benefits or anything, it's just so much a
there's
month.
some requirement that.
You know, we were looking at doing the secretary's.
Yeah, that's what I was, go ahead.
Oh.
Is there an option that, I mean,
I would
to
say-
maybe
If the
combine
board,
it?
I would say,
the weed board, yeah,
I mean, I don't,
And
like I said,
integrate the two of them together.
right, if it's not a full-time thing where it's a 40-hour week job, what they would have, you know, if they would dedicate, I don't know, 10, 15 hours a week or something, is that an option?
that would be,
You know?
now it's.
Why don't you talk to Kayla and see what's involved to it?
But it sounds like that would be a
I
good.
don't know how many hours she puts in, do you have any idea?
Well, I think it varies, just cause like when I was on the water board, Ardella was always kind of the secretary of that, and she worked for the treasurer's office too, but it just, we met quarterly for 2-3 hours, and then she had to handle some emails and stuff, so I would say 10 hours a week.
And
is-
the billing, I think.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm sure seasonally, there's other things that make you busier than other, but I would say it's, 500 hours a year, which would be 10 hours a week roughly, that's probably a
No.
fair number.
when are you looking at doing that, Russ?
Well, it's, you know, John's actually trying to come up with it's basically a money deal, you know, but if this would contribute to where it eases the pain on that side, it can be done sooner than later. I mean, depending on, you know, like Aaron said, if it's 10 hours a week, whatever their salary was, if you can combine it, was there any benefits or anything with that at all?
So do you have the hours that was accumulated,
I
or
don't,
do you have to get it from her?
I have to get.
Weed board.
Okay. Do you know her?
A little bit, I do.
Yeah, she still works in the lumberyard, right?
She's, yeah, they run, yeah.
I always felt like combining positions in the courthouse and stuff whenever we can was always the best scenario, so I think if you can hold a position like that, yeah.
Okay, I will
Okay,
check into it a little bit.
okay, thanks. So much for that.
Yeah.
Miscellaneous building permit for Kelly Newsome, moving in a 28x72 double wide trailer and a utility shed and construct a 28x40 3-stall garage in the northeast quarter of section 17, township 129, range 75.
So most of this stuff was gone through by the zoning and planning board.
Oh, okay. So you guys met for 2 hours.
The hard work is done.
Oh, okay, so you guys are up and going,
Huh?
you had your first meeting,
We did, yeah.
Oh, good.
good,
Your chairman sits amongst us.
oh, great.
And the vice chair is you? Bach?
David.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh. Did everybody?
I'm not on the zoning board, so you guys have to sign it, the
Did you
chair.
get
No,
everybody?
you have to
I have to sign this?
Yeah, you still have to
Always
sign it.
absent.
But
One?
it's based on, everything's based off recommendations, a do
Well, that's
pass or
too
don't
bad.
passes.
Was everybody there?
So
Lauren
they have
was
to
there.
approve this too then, the commissioners?
We
Right,
still,
yeah,
we have
so-
final approval, right, we just, all of ours is we've done the research, we have
Yeah,
a recommendation.
We're
Scott
looking
was
at
there too and went over everything?
Yep,
Even his brother.
When
we were missing one guy, otherwise everybody was there.
And that's where we
Had
had
the
it
date
set
messed up
up.
a little bit. And I think if I remember right, the building permit for Kelly was a due pass or whatever, there was no issues with it, and
Are we
the,
gonna, do we write that on the permit, like, well,
yeah, I think we have
Did
to
we figure
change
that
the
out?
permit, don't we?
where we have the committee write on the permit?
No, there's a zoning board action on the back here.
We added a signature to it now, so
We
Craig
added
can
it.
actually sign as a zoning
I
chairman.
think the other recommendation was they wanted, us to put down, like if it was a close pass or a close
Right.
fail, like 5-4, so that the board would know that and be like, okay,
Right.
why was it a close?
If it was unanimous or
Right.
contested, that's good.
Yeah, that was brought up as well, just because of
Yeah.
the fact that, just because it passed, doesn't mean everybody was in favor of it and why.
And
And why?
Right.
Cause right here, it
That's
shows,
good when they bring that to the board.
it just shows approved or disapproved, and then, whether the building permit was issued, not issued, and then the date and the signature.
We're
so.
still hammering everything out, but that was discussed, and I think we'll probably change that on there, so that you can see it was unanimous or whatever.
Okay. This is gonna be a plus.
Good, That's good, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And our plan is we're going to meet, what did we decide?
Last Tuesday,
The last Tuesday of every month.
The last Tuesday.
So anything that doesn't come in, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Monday before the commissioners meeting, like building permits or conditional, we'll have to wait till the following month.
Yeah, okay.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's a good plan.
Yeah.
Where are you guys meeting, right here?
Yep, we meet in the commissioners room.
Okay.
Downstairs.
Okay, okay.
Good.
Yeah, it went really well, I thought.
Until about 5:30, about hour and a half.
Yeah, good, good brainstorming, very good group of guys.
A lot of questions.
Just a lot of how we go about this and what makes us go about this, and I sent some stuff to these three that I found, well, I use ChatGPT, I'm not gonna lie. You ask it questions and it'll give you your century codes and all that, what the board is supposed to do. That was the questions that they wanted to know. What drives the position and what they're supposed to be doing and what their authority is, and I mean, just normal questions for guys that have been on boards before that kind of wanna.
Yeah.
Is there a motion to accept the county permit, county use of permit?
I'll make a motion to accept it.
Okay, Miller, accept, makes a motion, or second to the motion?
Second.
By Vanderwerst, all in favor?
Yep,
Go ahead.
I'm going to abstain due to a conflict of interest.
Okay,
Oh,
that's fine.
okay. Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item 2, tax abatement for parcel number 15-00000-05491 -000 for tax year 2025.
I believe it's a farm exemption. You qualify for farm exemption?
You did? Okay. Let's just look at correct.
I see what was.
Todd Strader.
And
See the one that's on the home place up in the brick house?
Yeah.
I can't remember who it was on.
Todd, I think that's the one, isn't it?
Is he on, along the highway, on Bill's place? He's Bill's son?
Yeah,
Oh.
Yeah. I don't
that's the
know.
one on the brick house, right?
Yep.
I think it's Christina.
Hmm?
Christina okayed it.
Yeah, she did.
She must did all the paperwork, so.
I'll make a motion to approve tax abatement for parcel.
What parcel number?
Yeah,
That's
that you read.
You wanna repeat that too?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay. Is there a second to that motion?
So I'll second it.
By Miller?
Long enough, I'll have to read it.
Okay. Is there, who's all in favor, excuse me? All in favor of the tax abatement for parcel number 15-000005-491-000?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carried. We're adding that to March. Item 3, plat, lot 1 in the northeast quarter of section 32, township 131, range 74 of the 5th prime meridian, Emmons County, North Dakota.
They have one here that they want you to sign with a permanent marker.
Who's that, my sister?
Yes.
Yeah, I have to stay away from this stuff. I
No,
can't
we-
even vote on it.
So I brought you
Can I?
two.
Oh, man.
Well, you still, as the chairman, have to sign it, but you don't
I
necessarily.
have to sign it, but I can't.
It was sent through with a
Can I vote even though it's sister or
do
not?
pass recommendation.
This one isn't,
I don't
It's
think it
pretty cut
matters.
and dry, isn't it?
yeah, there's nothing,
Do a roll call.
yeah, it's passable, I mean, there's nothing
Yeah.
to deny that,
Yeah,
to deny it.
I don't know. I know I've had people tell you, why are you abstaining from a building permit, even if you're doing work on it, you still want progress in this city and the county, right? Because I abstained when you went, and they're like, why?
Is there a motion to accept item 3, the plat, which is in front of me, on lot 1 in the northeast quarter of section 32, township 131, range 74 of the 5th prime meridian?
As a board, we have recommended a pass.
Okay, all good?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, second by Miller. All in favor?
Alright.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, item 4, zoning and planning board determined that Cavendish Farms potato storage will need to apply for a conditional use permit. See attached email from Troy Hanson.
So we took it to the zoning board last week, and they determined that he's gonna have to apply for conditional use permit. So I just wanted to let you guys know about it, so you're aware about it.
And our thoughts on that, where they're a commercial company. They're
See, how do you-
not a farm, they're basically putting up grain bins. I mean, they're potato storage, they're buildings, but they're grain bins, right? And they're a commercial company. They have employees, they pay employees.
Yep.
You know, we went back and forth about ag, commercial. Cavendish Farms, in most everybody's opinion, was, they're commercial.
Yeah.
And this is a grain bin, and under the conditional use permit, grain bins for commercial use need a conditional use permit. Grain bins for ag use of a, you know, of a private ag do not need those, then they just need a building permit.
So this is a building or? a building?
4 buildings.
It's multiple buildings.
Four, oh, more storage.
It's they're doing a truck scale house, 2 fan houses, and
Oh, boy.
and
Do you know where it's going?
5
Well, I
million
would,
pound.
yeah.
Straight north of Mossett's.
It's
Oh.
5 million pound potato storage
So
warehouse.
up here?
Yeah.
It's just out there by the old, by Joe Hanson's place to the north, right?
Yeah, they're gonna be neighbors. Joe's gonna be on an all potato diet here shortly, cause he's
So
gonna
is it on, it must be on the Monty,
They're pounding out there.
on the irrigated section. of
Irish
where
famine.
Monty had there, yeah.
There's a,
Yeah.
Yeah, there's pretty good information on it.
So there's gonna be a lot of material hauled in and out of there.
well, that's the one thing I talked to Russ about it. That road, we're gonna need a culvert replaced, the road goes on.
Which road is that? Is
Do
it
you know where Holmes, do you know where
That's
Paul Holmes
84th.
is?
He's right here, so that's Daryl's shell right there, so 84th, but then the one going north, that's on the court line, that's like their private trail, that's not even on the section line right here.
They'll have to build that up themselves.
Yeah.
That's right from Joe Hanson's yard to the west.
No.
right?
To the
I know
east,
where the
to the
site
west.
is.
We're asking what they
But-
Oh, Joe, that's already south or not?
Yeah, south,
So, yeah,
it's
they're-
north of Joe's, to the main road that goes east and west.
They have 84th,
Where's Joe's yard
Joe's is
no,
north,
he's up here,
he's up there.
and then they come up down here.
No, they're going,
This is their proposed road.
no, they're going west about half a mile,
at? So they going west of Shells?
or a quarter mile.
Yep, that's where it is.
No, they're
I
gonna
would
take
guess
their
yard,
that's
you're right.
the
They're taking their trail.
You're right.
to the quarter line.
So this is west of Shells, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's where that was.
I thought it was by the Holzer place.
No,
So it's
Well,
gonna
that-
be straight south of the airport.
yeah.
Well, why don't they come on
I
82nd?
don't know,
Why are they coming all the way to the south?
and then use our federal aid road to go to the highway. Must be a better road and a better means of the,
Well, 82nd goes through that swamp right before
That's
Joe's
too
place,
wet.
that's one big problem.
that's.
They
also actually already have that road built from the south, pretty much built up, or at least they've been using something that
Right.
resembles a road, cause we've been back there on like side by sides and stuff, and it's pretty well built up.
Is it?
coming in,
Yeah.
So that's where they should go.
And I guess the board's thought was that this is just probably the beginning.
Right, well, they also said that they haven't finalized the purchase of the land, and they haven't submitted an actual permit yet, they were just kinda looking for,
Until this is okay.
they said, hey, we don't, what should we submit as far as permits?
Well, they own the pivot land, do they understand what
We're
it's
gonna
gonna
have to approve that.
They own their land, but the 40 acres is not on their land.
Okay.
They're gonna buy that, is
Okay.
the plan, is that, so.
So the conditional use permit would entail what for dollars?
Well, the 3%.
3% of the total.
I mean, basically, all this is it came to us as informational, and it's coming to you guys as informational. They wanted to know what type of permit the zoning and planning board and us felt like was right. And like I said, we came up with conditional use permit. And now we just wait till we get a conditional use permit, and then we'll have to study the whole thing again, and then it'll come to us again for approvals. You know, the nice thing about the conditional use permit that Marlis brought up is the public hearing.
Right.
You know, cause we're going, that's a horrible road to be driving on, maybe they should do it like this. All comes down to the public hearing, and then we get to hear from everybody.
I will say one thing, storing those potatoes right by the fields is going to alleviate a lot of traffic going to the west, cause they haul them potatoes back to cattails, so. Just, I know when we're talking about roads and the first
Yeah.
presumption is like, oh my, they're doing potato harvest in that area anyway.
So
If they
don't
can
all-
pull it right off the fields and go into those buildings, that probably is a net value to the county.
Right.
Absolutely.
And now you're just looking at 84th, I mean, obviously 84th is going to see action. But 84th probably already sees action from the south fields, 82nd's maybe seeing it from the north, and they might be beating up 2 or 3 roads. So, I mean, you know, when you start weighing it, their idea is, there's probably just the initial shock is like, oh my god, there's gonna be all that action, but it might actually really cut down on the track, cause every truckload going in and out of them fields probably comes from cattail.
Yeah.
So when you think about that, they're really probably isolating the traffic to just this small area,
Yep.
which is something that we can probably negotiate some maintenance, or, you know, we have an opportunity to probably build a nice site where at Cattail, we didn't maybe were a part of that, cause that was even before Seaview's time, and
Well,
we know the repercussions of,
Yep.
you know, this, and we need to figure out a way so that they can productively do this without it being with it being a benefit to the county, not a detriment, so. I think the conditional use permit is probably a proper way to do it, so you can get a public hearing, you get some vetting. I don't think they would be coming to us, reaching out for information if they weren't trying to make it a good situation, so.
Well, it's gonna help our cattail road.
Yeah,
Exactly, that's what I'm saying, like,
Yeah,
the net
They
benefits
wanna
are
go straight
probably,
out to 83.
yes.
Yeah, it'll help that whole stretch, that
Yeah.
18 miles.
cause otherwise, all that traffic goes west from there.
I'm surprised they don't
Most-
wanna put it closer to the highway even.
Well, they probably,
Huh?
Maybe they tried and they couldn't buy the land, I don't know, you know, I mean, there's such a different scenarios, but.
Well, with
I-
harvest, they're not gonna be tracking dirt out onto the road.
Yeah,
Right.
I just can tell you that my first thought of that is, oh my gosh, is that gonna save, how
Yeah.
far
The
is it
roads to
now?
the west.
yeah,
10 miles to the west to 1804?
That's more than
Not-
that, isn't
I-
it?
It's, well, they're on what, they're on,
17 or 18.
Yeah.
That's gotta be
yeah, it's
20
even
miles.
more.
Well,
So,
18 from 1804 to.
From the furthest point of the potato field.
well, I'm just trying to think, cause they would
To
be
the
on,
potato
what,
fields, it's even further, just.
Yeah, right, cause they go south,
Right.
Yeah.
but I'm just saying, if you go from them cattail
Yeah, right.
warehouses to that spot, you think about how much less traffic will be there because of them buildings?
Well, they own that pit, don't they, Joe, where you can come out of your yard, right?
Yep, yep.
Okay,
And see you.
Okay.
Okay, well, yeah, yeah.
on the west side, right?
Yep.
Well, Shell's owned that at one time, didn't it?
I think it was RDO, wasn't it? I don't know who owned it.
Well, before
way back.
Seaview would have been, yeah, RDO ran that, I don't know who had it before that, but I think when you really think about that,
Didn't Mike own it? Mike,
He rented that corner,
oh,
they rented that. I thought Daryl bought that quarter right there by you to the west.
yeah, I don't know, I don't think it's a bad thing.
I think it's a good.
I think the conditional use permit is probably the proper avenue for it.
yeah.
They've got 220 there, or 3-phase.
Oh, yeah, with
Yeah.
irrigation, I would
With
imagine they do, and that's
irrigation.
probably a big motivator, is they have a lot of utilities going to that spot,
Yeah,
which
they
makes
do.
it easier to add on,
Tap
so.
into.
Yeah, cause they'll have to run.
Yep.
cans.
There's a lot of potential in that area for pivots.
I just look at it as anytime you can build storage like that closer to 83 is nothing but a value to the county.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, when you get them off, you get them closer to pavement,
It's
farther
all
away
these
from
little white deals.
rail grazing.
Yeah.
German mines.
I was gonna say, it's probably rail grazing.
Good luck crossing that.
The Badgers are colonizing against us.
Very good.
So the official opinion would be is to instruct them to apply for conditional use permit, and then it goes through the process we created, the zoning board, and then,
Yep,
okay.
We'll hold a public hearing and then, yeah, then it comes to you guys.
Sounds good.
I think, and you probably already notified them, correct, or,
Yes,
Yeah.
they called me the day after.
and did they seem
So
like
the
they were?
zoning board does the public hearing,
Yep,
not the commission.
and what was their thoughts on this conditional use permit, not a boo or not?
We had no
nothing?
problem with it.
Yeah, I
I
don't,
know we all thought at the zoning board it would probably be
Too
a
extreme.
while out, I don't think so.
oh, I'm sure they're gonna move on this.
They want that done this fall.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then, I did get a new conditional use permit from that, company with that.
Sure, the Emmons,
Yeah.
Intermountain.
Yeah, and then yesterday they paid $750
You know,
permit
that's
fee,
like, no
so
matter what. it's-
now I have to schedule a hearing.
public hearing.
But at least if they're gonna keep that-
So the zoning board takes care of that too?
Yes.
So
Yep.
you wanna determine when you wanna have that hearing, so I know?
Should we just get it done as soon as we can and be done with it?
Yeah.
Somewhere, well, let's just, maybe we should just do it on our next meeting. Cause you're,
Patty,
well,
what do you want next
we're
week?
to the point where you gotta advertise it for 2 weeks, right?
Could we do it?
And it's basically 3 weeks to our next meeting from today, so why don't we just do it on that day?
What day was it again?
Oh,
The
yeah.
24th, Tuesday.
Yeah, no, that,
4.
I thought we moved one.
I know we farm along there.
I think they said
It's a real- So, yeah.
What do we have going?
Yep, 3.
Traffic down
That's
75.
a big deal.
Big help.
So
See you around.
see you around, take care.
Thanks for
Oh, boy.
The mayor of Tenvick, everyone, the mayor of Tenvick.
Have it downstairs in the auditorium then, public hearing? To check with Craig to see what's open that day.
Yeah. Probably not, but you never know.
That should be the time.
You can put a lot of people in here, though, I think.
Yeah, I was
How many can you put in here,
You have the
80?
cell phone number and your
I think you can put 80 people in
You
here.
get a lot of people. in
Yeah, what's the-
I think it's more about the size of our board, there's 9 of us, so.
Oh, that does make
Oh,
it tough,
getting
yeah.
everybody
Plus
here.
Joe and.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
plus-
does make it tough, yeah.
Plus the 3 full-timers, then it's,
Yeah.
now it's.
No, that is,
12 of
you're
us.
right.
What do we have going in March? Anything? No hearings, no nothing, right?
Not yet.
Okay,
So we don't. the
grab it in on
commission
the, in the
doesn't
March
consider
meeting, we
that.
can do it.
No, we're good. The zoning and planning board does the public hearings now.
Okay.
So we're gonna do it on the 24th, the day we already have a meeting scheduled, we're gonna do it at 4
Oh, yeah,
o'clock.
no, yeah.
Our meeting's
Okay.
at 3, we're gonna do it at 4.
So you guys won't do public hearings
You
anymore?
just keep it.
Yeah,
there.
great, get out.
It's all you know.
Yeah, but you can certainly come attend them,
Great. Just,
Yeah.
to see how it's going.
Oh,
You gotta- you guys-
Hey, I just wanna bring something up that Craig just showed me while Gary was in here, and not that not that I'm against his whole deal, I'm not that kinda guy. I've always been a salaried guy, and I've never gotten extra compensation.
I never
Not that I'm saying that they don't deserve it, but I noticed, Craig noticed and pointed it out on the bills, the on-call extra pay and the retention bonus extra pay that was given to, Gary and Chris and Christie.
So what that was is the legislators passed a Back to Blue grant.
Oh, what?
It's called Back to Blue grant. This is the second round that the legislators passed. And, I don't know how the money, how they
So
determine
it's
who
not, it
gets.
doesn't come out of county funded money?
No, I don't know how they determine
Okay, I was just kinda
county
curious.
gets whatever, but you're supposed to use it for retention and you
Well,
can use it for,
Employee.
Apparently, it's not working very well for retention, but
Right.
it's a good thing,
and that's
absolutely.
what a lot of the counties are doing, yeah, they're just giving it out.
Yeah.
To their staff, so
Okay,
it just so happens that that money did come in here at the end of the year, and so he's,
and I'm just making it aware, that was just something that was pointed out to me, and,
Yeah, we didn't know.
yeah, we didn't know where it was coming from. That,
Yes.
it is a good thing, and
Back to
I,
Blue grant
I
for
don't
the
have a
state.
problem with
yeah.
that, that's good.
and I'm not against, like I said, any of this. I wanna hear what people are thinking, and
I do too. Which pen am I supposed to sign this with on each two?
I don't think.
I would practice with it on a plain sheet, but because it said you have to
I
sign it
honestly don't think
permanently.
we can expect 2 people to run.
Is it
this
open?
county.
The 24th, I have as a tentative date for the spelling bee. They're scheduled for the 18th.
Yeah, but isn't that in the morning?
Right,
Okay, we would need it at 4 o'clock.
4? Yeah, that should work.
Well, 3 o'clock.
Well, 3 o'clock, we have our zone meeting at 3 o'clock.
Yeah, 'cause I think they only go like maybe for like 45 minutes or something like
Yeah.
that, or an hour.
So the hearing wouldn't be till 6 or something.
4.
Four.
Our meeting's at 3,
Oh,
and it really shouldn't take more than an hour if we even have that much stuff come through, so we don't wanna.
She wants that to be kept.
I don't think it could-
Yes,
We should
yes.
talk to.
And then you wanna
She
sign
wants
it.
to do it right away at 3 and then do the
She
rest of our
called
business.
us.
well, the only reason we ever had one later was
Yeah.
people, if they're working, you know, they might wanna get off work.
Preferential treatment.
Well, I realize that, but if,
I like Carol.
I mean, we got guys here already, to have them all drive back.
I can, yeah, I can.
I get it, everything's like that, you know, we get that on the city council,
Just
so we
go
have
back.
meetings at 5, and people complain, and I have always said, why don't we do it at
Oh,
7?
that little engineering deal.
People can show up.
Yeah.
Can't let them do it.
Should I go ahead and sign this little bit?
So I think we probably have to make a motion by the board to approve and go through it. I know Joe kinda glanced over it,
What
so
is
did
this
I. It's, the only question mark was that, if there was any issue, like the maximum amount of damages we could seek from Old Engineering was like $50,000. I'm sure they base that off of like a percentage of their fees, but more than likely, it's not gonna be the engineer's trouble, it might be a contractor, and if the contractor has trouble with the engineer, you know, so they kinda cross each other over, so it's a pretty generic contract, we've probably signed a dozen times with Old, and so I don't see anything, and Joe didn't see anything that would stop you from signing it, so.
It had turned out good with that bridge deal out there by Myers, didn't it?
Yeah,
Where
the
they
only,
had that grade variation.
yeah,
or
the only thing that I ever heard anybody from was that the road going to it kinda had this
Hook to it.
little hook to it,
Yep.
and then to get around it with a semi, and we talked about that a few meetings back, and basically what's gonna happen is somebody's gonna tear out the guardrail, and then they're probably just not gonna replace it, because, or they will push it back so that, I just had somebody that lives out there, that truck said, oh, to make a right turn on there is almost impossible, which probably isn't gonna upset anybody that lives along that back road, then truckers won't take that road.
Yeah.
I don't know. No, it looked really good. We hunt out there quite a bit, and it was, that is a
We drove out there.
interstate worthy bridge, to be honest with you. It's almost a
Real
shame
nice.
it's so far.
It's a
down.
dirty shame that we're so limited to be used.
It's a beautiful bridge. They did a great job.
Yeah.
Oh, what do you do?
Well, that's how they build them now, you know.
Well, it was 100% federally funded, right? So it's not like you're gonna tell them, no, we don't want it.
Right.
It is what it is. Yeah, it's a beautiful bridge.
But back to this Old Engineering deal here.
So that's the contract to
Yeah.
move forward with the SRF funding and the project for cattail.
Yep.
So that's where if you wanna move forward, then you have to enter a contract with Volt. I don't see anything that's any different from any other contract we probably signed with them, so I would make the motion that we, approve the contract.
The preliminary construction engineering service agreement.
Yep.
I'll
Okay.
second that.
Aaron makes a motion to that, second by Gardner. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried with vote. It's signed. Oh, no, I haven't signed this one. Here's this.
I believe that's the only thing we postponed really, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Took that, otherwise.
Well, we kinda, like I said, we kinda got off track with that whole, I just remember we talked about clay and we talked about pulling the shoulders, and
Yep.
nothing ever got done, and then I just, better material,
I
better
think
road,
that's a
better.
really good idea, to try to get bids.
Yeah, you gotta do it like you said.
Well, you can't
do the whole road except for 250 feet, whatever it is, and we get money next to go for it.
But I think it's a real good idea to try and bid that out.
Well, yeah, we
Our guys-
can't pull all our guys out of the county, and
That'll be like, not a good deal.
we'd all save a little bit of money, cause we turn our phones off, I mean, like, Chancellor Clarence probably gets hold of that.
Leave all summer.
Is there anything else, guys, you wanna cover? Look over the monies.
Anybody see what the Butler machinery bill was?
Yeah.
Just going through it, that looks like just kind of an outlier, it was a pretty big
Pretty
bill.
huge.
Otherwise, the rest of it looks like standard
That stuff's
procedure.
expensive, yeah, they worked on that.
Well, that was not
gonna
good,
be on
yeah,
that
warranty on it.
Yeah,
They replaced that tranny on that one machine.
but that was supposed to be.
That's warranty work.
Yeah, but we have a bill here
We
for,
have a bill here for $27,000 though, that's why I'm just wondering, is that like a reimbursement from a third party for warranty, or how does that, or is that not even warranty, is that other stuff, did we purchase a bunch of?
You wanna call Russ?
Well, I'm just curious, is the bill in there, like with the
Bill
invoice,
should be in the pack.
just to see what, that's the only one that
What did
looks
they
like
buy? That wasn't,
little
no, that wasn't that 3 point.
little questionable.
Well, that quick couple, they bought that elsewhere.
Yeah, they
I
got
think he
that.
bought that online.